This episode,
we review the Tom Cruise starring action film Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, while breaking down the legacy of the Mission Impossible franchise. While breaking down the legacy of the Mission Impossible franchise in the most concise way possible.
I feel like it was a little bit obnoxious, but you know what? I like listening to you, pal. I like listening to you. And on top of that, we examine the ins and outs of Netflix's recent Tadum fan event while discussing Stranger Things Season 5, the final season, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, and Squid Game Season 3. I still said it weird. This is like our fourth attempt at reading this, and I said it weird again. Frankenstein. I don't know why I said Frankenstein. I said Frankenstein. Frankenstein. It's Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Sorry.
Well, at least I don't have to read the word coyote next.
Coyote.
And we take a look at the unmerger, Adrian, of Warner Brothers Discovery.
My name is Simon Eady.
Your name isn't Simon Eady.
No,
are you serious?
Is Adrian Pinter.
This is the fourth time.
I was just reading.
Why are you reading it?
I was
reading. You want
the
me
script.
To change it in the document for you?
No, it's fine. It's fine, dude.
I can change. No, hold on. I'm going to change it. How many times are you going to read my name? And you didn't do it ironically. You did it for real, I think. Okay, go on.
My name is Adrian Pinter.
And I'm Simon Eady.
Welcome to Split Focus, a film and TV podcast, episode 112.
My good buddy, my good pal. We're a bunch of gamers, and this has been a eventful couple weeks, I must say. I just wanted to ask you. I'm curious what you think. We've had now many showcases, many games shown. What was your favorite showcase out of the video game showcases that happened? And what was your favorite game that was shown? Or what was your most hyped up video game? So just to give context to audience members who obviously they're tuning into a film and TV podcast, don't maybe understand the power of E3. But this is E3 season. You know, E3 is very dead, dead and gone. But the big publishers, the big video game publishers like Microsoft and like PlayStation and normally Ubisoft and various others, they like to make announcements during this time of year. Every year. Like coincidentally, it's when E3 used to happen, that big conference for gaming. But yeah, E3 is dead, and now we're left with these announcements from various publishers. What did you think? What was your favorite of the game shows? I'm just super curious. We didn't watch them together, so I've just been thinking about it. What do you think?
Yeah, and just to clarify, I did invite you to watch it together, but you said no. I don't like you. I don't want to be around you. You smell. Is what you said to me, and I was like, "That's kind of rude."
Look,
man,
sometimes I suggested deodorant, and you said no. So I guess that's life.
You know, it gives me a rash. But yeah, I really enjoyed this past weekend. My favorite showcase, Simon, was probably the Microsoft showcase.
Ooh, and you're a PlayStation gamer, so look at that.
I am, but the best part about that, Simon. Every game they showed, it's coming to PlayStation.
Eventually,
much.
Probably.
Yeah. So I think that was just like pound for pound the best looking showcase. It was a little unfortunate that like they ended with something that looked really cool, and then it was like, this is actually Call of Duty Black Ops 7, and I was like, oh, it's kind of a bummer.
Here's something interesting about this like Xbox showcase. Okay, I was listening to like an Xbox podcast. You listen to it too on occasion, I assume, but Defining Duke.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because they didn't think it was that strong.
What?
And they actually titled their name of the episode in which they go through the announcements as a slow year.
Oh my goodness.
Which is pretty cool. But not inaccurate in comparison to the last 2 years, which I think Xbox had a better showcase the last 2 years, especially last year. I think last year was their strongest showcase. It was excellent. This one year was
Yeah.
good, but I don't think that in any way was it a bad showcase. I think it was excellent, but it was pretty funny to see that. I was like, what? They didn't think it was
Yeah.
bad. They just thought it was like average is what they kind of claimed it
Interesting.
was as they started the podcast up. I didn't finish the episode, so maybe they convinced themselves that it's actually better than they initially went in with. Oh,
I'm still here. You cut out briefly. You became.
I'm not sure what's
a
going
friend.
on with our recording software Zencaster here, but we keep cutting out, and I don't know what's happening because my Wi-Fi is fine. So I don't know.
Same with my Wi-Fi is fine as well, and I'm hardwired. But to
No
be fair,
idea.
Simon, it might be me. Who knows? My computer literally crashed, and I fixed it due to my software skills. But
Yeah.
bringing it back to Microsoft, that my PC is. Yeah, I don't know. I respectfully disagree with them. Again, I didn't really hear their point of view. I don't really remember the last couple years showcases, but to me, this felt the strongest. And maybe
Yeah.
it's simply because I know that all these games are coming to PlayStation now. Whereas before,
Oh.
there's this level of disinterest because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, cool. They have a lot of these exclusives. I'm not going to buy an Xbox. I could play it on PC, but I rarely, if ever, play on PC.
Yeah.
So I think this year was kind of that awesome, man. All these games look fucking awesome. It's coming
That's
to
it.
PlayStation. So
That's a good call out too,
Yeah.
because I feel like the other problem with the showcases the last 2 years is that they did this thing where they show off games that are nowhere close. They have this
Yes.
problem, and this year they didn't quite do that. They pretty much showed us games that were more imminent, which I prefer. That's actually what PlayStation prefers to do as
Mhm.
well. So when you look at their state of plays, they're like, people criticize the state of plays constantly, but the state of plays have games that are going to come out within the next typically 365 days. Typically, not always. There's a few that are like, "Ooh, this is this big thing coming soon," and then they kind of tease it for later. But I much prefer that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I felt like the Xbox showcase was tighter. It was
Mhm.
weird because they were complaining about how they split up and had like the big executives come out and talk about various things as well at
Oh.
various times in the showcase. But I'm like, that's what they've been doing for 3 years. I don't know. Maybe they're just biased in a weird way. I don't know. But I do find that the last 2 years they had really big hitter showcases, that they had a lot to show. In fact, this year they didn't show a few things that I was shocked they didn't show.
Gears of War, Fable. I think those were the two big ones.
Fable's a big one.
Gears
They
of
showed
War.
Gears of War. Yeah.
E-Day, sorry.
The prequel, yeah.
Yeah, not the
The
prequel
big
game.
new game that's coming. And they didn't show Forza, but they teased it. And it's like, what was
Yeah.
that? And they didn't show Starfield, which is crazy because they definitely have a DLC cooking and they haven't really updated it this year, which is like the big space game for those who don't know. Anyway, this is getting off track because we are a video game podcast. But sorry, we're not a video game podcast. We're a film and TV podcast.
We're
Adrian,
switching it up. Episode
Before
112.
we do switch it back to film and TV, I do want to ask though, what was your most anticipated game that was announced
It's tough. I think
over the course of all the
like
showcases?
brand new announcement. Brand new announcement.
No, it could be anything that's hyped up in this thing. Anything that's hyped up. I think I know what it is. It's going to be a brand new announcement anyway. Let's be real.
Yeah. So yeah. Like, ironically, I think my favorite announcement was from my least favorite showcase, and it was Resident Evil 9 being announced.
Yeah.
And coming very soon in February of next year. I'm very excited about that. As you know, I'm more of a recent Resident Evil fan. When I was a kid, I actually liked the Mila Jovovich movies. I watched the first 3. But I never really played the games, and then I got into it more recently, within the past 10 years, give or take a bit.
Right.
And then just kind of fell in love with the franchise, and now I'm kind of day one there, every single release. So yeah, I'm super excited for Resident Evil 9. It looks really cool. Capcom, which is the publisher and the mysterious developer under the Capcom wing that is making it. I mean, they have an amazing engine. It looks really good, and I love that sort of horror aesthetic. I'm curious what it means for the story. Yeah, I'm very excited, man. That's probably my favorite. Cool. Honorable mentions, though, Silent Hill F. We knew about this, but it is like a horror game set in Japan in, I think, the 50s, and you play as like this schoolgirl in this, back in the day in Japan. It looks terrifying, really awesome. And then final one from the Xbox showcase itself, because that Silent Hill F was actually from the PlayStation show. Clockwork Revolution, which looks really cool. I feel
Does
like
that look like a type of game that you like, though?
It reminds me a lot of BioShock Infinite, and that's why I think it's scratching an itch. And I really love BioShock Infinite.
I mean, it's like BioShock Infinite because it's steampunk, but the style of
Mhm.
game is going to be nothing like BioShock Infinite
I'm
theoretically.
curious
right?
what the
It looks
style
like
of
it's
game.
more like it looks like more like a game from Obsidian, like Outer
Yeah,
Worlds,
like
or more maybe deeper than that.
mhm.
Um,
I liked In Exile's last game, Wasteland 3. I actually
oh, there
played
you
through it
go.
all,
That
which is
could be
really cool.
perfect.
And I played the Outer Worlds.
And you liked it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it
Oh,
enough.
well, there you
Those are
go.
actually, funnily enough, 2 games I played on my PC.
There you
So
go.
now I don't have to. Now it's coming to PlayStation. Probably.
It's exciting. Well, Outer Worlds was always coming to PlayStation.
Yeah, I mean Clockwork Revolutions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool, man.
Yeah. What about you, dude? Again, I'm yapping your ear off. I'm yapping away here.
My favorite showcase was also the Xbox showcase. I think that just hitter after hitter. It was also like a very well paced show. I thought like there was not a lot of filler, although that's again what the Defining Duke guys said, that there's a lot of filler. I don't understand. It's very weird. I was like, what am I in an alternate reality? Like this was the best showcase. I like the state of play a lot too, but again, it's funny. The state the state of play. I feel like in terms of the types of games I play, probably had less games that I play, but I thought that was a really strong showcase. But people think that the state of play, which is PlayStation Showcase, was bad, which I don't understand either.
I find that bizarre.
We live in a bizarre world, is what it is.
Yeah.
Like everything is bad, apparently. Everything, no matter what it is. You didn't like Summer Games Fest. Oh,
yeah. Sorry, I felt like I was going to sneeze. I didn't want to sneeze right into the microphone.
That's fair. But yeah, you didn't like Summer Games Fest, but I thought that it was just as strong of a showing as they've had. Like ever, because the Summer Games Fest is never that good. Yeah, I think like this was probably their best one. Like I didn't care that much. I thought it was this was good. I just again, it's not really that like, especially the end announcement. I think that was the best announcement they've ever.
Resident Evil. Yeah,
like I don't know if they've ever done a like that big of an announcement at Summer Games Fest. Jeff Keighley, the host of the show, also hosts the Video Game Awards, and he typically
Canadian Treasure.
Yeah, Canadian Treasure, Jeff Keighley. He typically like leaves, I feel like, his best announcements for the Video Game Awards, and he kind of really stacks that show, but doesn't necessarily stack Summer Games Fest. Anyway, point is, like the Xbox Showcase the most. It felt like there's a lot of things up my alley, and as you said, all those games are going to come to PlayStation, which is my primary console, primary
mode of play.
Yeah, medium. Yeah, very good. And so my favorite trailer, the thing that impressed me the most, the game that I'm most excited for from the overall Summer Games Fest time period, the 2-week period here, is actually from the Unreal 5 tech demo. The Witcher 4 looks unbelievable in that tech demo. Now, it is a tech demo. Obviously. It's called a tech demo. But you have to believe that a lot of what that game is, in some capacity, will be translated into the game. Otherwise, they'd be fools. Like it's a vertical slice, as they call it. It's something to show off the game engine. The Witcher 3 was the last game that CD Projekt Red created, the developer.
No,
The Witcher 4, obviously.
Cyberpunk.
Sorry, the last game in that series, the Witcher series.
Yeah,
that they created for the Witcher. And then now the Witcher 4 is coming. But you're right. Yeah, Cyberpunk was their last game, obviously. But both those games, The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk, were on a different engine, not on Unreal Engine. So this is their first big Unreal Engine game. So it's pretty exciting. I don't know. It looks pretty awesome to me. It's crazy because they showed that it was playing on a PS5 as well. They specifically pointed that out. They specifically pointed out that it was pointed out somewhere that it was 60 frames per second.
Yes.
Which
I saw that as well.
Smoothly. Yeah. So
you saw the horse's muscles?
Yeah, which I loved. I love that idea.
Like,
and I imagine that, at the very least, that will be in the game. Because it's like the idea is the devil's in the details, and I think they're focused on making sure that they make a more realistic and more immersive open world than ever before. That's the theory. Anyway, so we'll see.
Yeah, most certainly, man. Most certainly. I'm glad that we're on the same page about that. I thought that that Unreal Showcase was pretty neat as well. I can understand why people would be like, well, there's no way this is exactly how the game's going to look like. And it's like, yeah, probably not. I mean, it's a tech demo.
Speaking of, again, the same network of podcasts, we listen to Sacred Symbols. And if you listen to them argue about that for like 20 minutes, they're like, what? They're like so disappointed. They're like, well, yeah, I'm not really taking it seriously. It looks fine, but who cares about it? Like over and over again, they said it like 6 times. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah. Oh, nobody said it was the game. It isn't gameplay anyway. But yeah, The Witcher is interesting too because they got Liam Hemsworth playing Geralt of Rivia in the next season
right?
of the Netflix show, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And actually, should throw that in my notes. We're gonna talk about in like our Split Focus special segment later in our episode here. We're gonna talk about the Netflix To Doom event, and I actually had a list of things that were missing from that, and I forgot to jot this down. That's one of the big things that's missing. The Witcher show wasn't there from my recollection, which is strange, but yeah. Anyway, I'm curious what that's going to be because there's been lots of screenshots of Liam Hemsworth. Also, people are clowning on Liam Hemsworth. They say he doesn't look like Geralt, or because they're used to. I think it's just because they're used to Henry Cavill. I don't know. This is a bit strange. There's like almost Doctor Whoing Geralt of Rivia, but I just don't agree that you can just clown on the guy for a screenshot. Why does everyone do this? They did this with Ellie, like Bella Ramsey's Ellie. It's like let's take a bad screenshot of this actor and then claim that she can't do the role. I don't know. It's just ridiculous.
People are haters, dude.
No, I know. They love to hate. Yeah. They want to see things fail too. It gives them pleasure.
What is that? Through them.
Is that what do they call that? Schadenfreude or whatever?
Schadenfreude.
Yeah, they take pleasure in the
others' failures.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it is largely. That's the internet largely, and the algorithm obviously is fed by
feeds that. Yeah.
Anger and hate,
hatred.
All right, well, we. I just wanted to bring up something. We went to a movie recently, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later in the show. You and me and my fiance, we went to go see Mission Impossible in theaters in the Cineplex Theater. I just want to set the record straight before we get into the news. I booked the tickets before anyone else in the theater, okay? Because I meant to say this to you before we left, and I think you might know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
I booked the tickets, and then, we went and sat in the theater. We were one of the first like trios to sit in the theater at all. There's a few people behind us when we went to go sit down. And then everyone just like filters in. And this is like this is like some kind of problem with, again, I've made this theory before. When you buy tickets on the cheap Tuesday night, for some reason, people are the least respectful out of all movie goers. And I think the less expensive the ticket, the more disrespectful is. I think there's a correlated graph with that. But regardless of that, it's weird to me that I booked the tickets. There's like a full empty theater and this old couple with literal masks on, like they were wearing N95 masks because they're, I guess, afraid to get sick or afraid to get others sick. Well, I don't know which one, but either way is bad. They booked the tickets right beside you. And I don't know why, because on the other side of us, there was free space. Below us, there was free space. And I was almost like, should we just move down a row? And eventually people filtered in and they were covering that row too. But I was very confused. And I don't know what you thought about that, but I just want to set the record straight. I'm sorry that happened to you, but I booked the tickets first. There was like one other couple behind us, and that was it.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't know. They're older people. I just kind of accepted it. I imagine, I don't know.
Why though? If they're afraid of getting COVID or something, why would they book tickets right beside when there's mostly an empty theater? It was like 50% empty.
Yeah. Do you think that they booked them, or if they just went there and they're like, just give us the tickets at the concession? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this is me being super ageist, but I'm just like, maybe they just simply did not know how to pick seats properly, and I didn't want to hold it against them. Oh. Okay. They're older folk. I felt bad. I was like, oh, and I did like the casual, like where you smile at old people so they know that you're a good person. Right. I'm just there eating my popcorn, just crunching in their ear probably. I kept on cracking my knuckles as I do, Simon, as you know.
Yeah, it is.
And the old guy kept on looking over at me. I'm like, brother.
Why do you crack your knuckles like that, though, in situations like that? That's the question.
I just need the instant relief.
Then why don't you just fart in public? That's an absurd reasoning.
I mean, sometimes I do.
Sometimes I do. You don't.
I toot in public. Usually they're silent.
Loudly? Though. You do it loudly?
Sometimes they'll slip out.
Loudly.
Sometimes, man. I can't.
And people don't look at you like, what the hell is this guy? This guy's not following any basic etiquette of society over here.
They probably do. But again, you can't help it. It slips out sometimes. I'm not going to. You want me to blow up like a balloon? I'll start floating away, Simon, if I hold in my toots. That's how it works.
All right. I don't think that's how it works. Yeah. But regardless of that,
you go into the other room to fart in your own house. so you don't fart in front of your fiance. That's crazy
polite.
to me.
It's polite.
That's nuts. I'm gonna be honest with you. That is nuts, and I will die on that hill.
That's fair.
I'd be tooting everywhere in my house, man. Doesn't matter. It's my home.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
To each their own, but that's in your home. I'm talking about in a movie theater where you're cracking your knuckles loudly. I even turned around like, seriously? You crack your knuckles on camera sometimes. You can catch it in the freaking mic in our episodes.
Okay.
It's too much. I can't
crack them right now. I cracked them before the show.
It's too much. I'm not a fan.
I gotta do it, dude. It hurts. It's discomfort.
But I don't crack my knuckles at all. I don't have discomfort. You're causing your own discomfort.
Well, it's been ingrained in my
That's like
little
chewing
fists.
on your nails. That's like biting your nails or something. It's like discomfort.
I used to chew on my nails back in the day, and then I got out of it.
Yeah.
But I used to smoke cigarettes, Simon, and I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. So just let me crack my fucking knuckles, okay?
So what you're saying is you can get out of cracking your knuckles as well eventually.
Mm-hmm. So I could, but I don't want to.
Let me have my vices. I love how you said because you didn't quite listen to what I said. I guarantee that's what happened. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Oh no, I was gonna say also. So Martin Scorsese recently said in an interview. Did you see this? I think it was for The Guardian or something. He was asked about the movie going experience, and he says he doesn't go to his own movies and he doesn't go to movies in the theaters anymore. That kind of explains why he's on Netflix and Apple TV Plus for his recent movies. But anyway, he said he doesn't go there. You know why? Can you guess why? Based on the topic of conversation, because I'm about to bring up another thing that happened in the theater right in front of us.
People are on their phones.
He said basically theater etiquette. People don't follow, these kids these days don't follow proper etiquette is basically what he said.
It's true.
Without being old man voice. But yeah. That's what he said. It's interesting because, again, the guy in front of us, eventually, again, they did fill in the seats in front of us. So that first row, at least in front of us. And the guy was on his phone in the immediate beginning of the movie. Like, what?
It was crazy because the guy wasn't on his phone. And then the movie started and he pulled out his phone. And it's not like he was on, responding to a text message. He was scrolling through fucking Twitter, dude. I was like, what are you doing, man?
It's crazy.
I was like, if this guy kept on going, I was going to whack the back of his head and it said, get out.
Speaking of addictions, I mean, that guy's addicted to his phone. Am I right? It's nuts. But I can see where Scorsese's coming from, but I feel like that's strange because you're being a hypocrite a little bit because he was one of the advocates for theater going experiences, wasn't he? Maybe that's why he stopped doing that because he's like, I don't even go to the theaters. Why do I care if my movie's on Netflix? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that might have been what happened.
I don't know. Wasn't he like, oh, the movie theaters are Marvel movies. They're just theater. They're just parks.
Well, whose fault is that?
His. It's his because he hasn't made a good movie in years.
Oh, he's made great movies.
I'm just kidding. I know he has.
Yearly, almost. At least, maybe not yearly. Every 3 years. How often does he release a movie nowadays?
Yeah, but anyway. When was the last one he did? The Killers of the Flower Moon?
Yeah, I think that's the last one.
I heard that one was good. I didn't watch it though.
It's pretty good.
Just pretty good. Okay.
I think I like The Irishman better as a more recent fare he's made. What's my favorite Scorsese movie? What's your favorite Scorsese movie?
I have no idea. Off the top of my head, I don't know. Let's look. Let's look at his filmography.
I feel like I'm forgetting which one because there's one that always comes to mind. Oh, I think Wolf of Wall Street's pretty great.
I do like that. I do like that movie. I haven't watched all of his movies. I'll be totally blunt with you. I
think I like The Irishman quite a bit. His movies are often fairly long. I watched Silence as a very intense movie, but it's slow.
With Andrew Garfield.
My favorite movie from him, I think, is The Departed, actually. I think The Departed is really excellent. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or Taxi Driver is really good, too.
Oh, the ripoff of Joker?
Yeah, right. Yeah, of course. It goes in that order.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gangs in New York is pretty good.
I'll be honest with you. I haven't seen a huge amount of his movies.
I recently saw Goodfellas within the last 2 years. That's pretty great too.
So I guess The Wolf of Wall Street.
I think I would pick The Departed for me. Oh yeah, Wolf of Wall Street for you.
Yeah,
cool.
I watched Shutter Island as well.
Did you like that one?
I thought it was fine.
Okay, that's fair. Cool. Okay, let's move on to the news, Adrian. A few quick bites of film and TV industry news that occurred over the last 2 weeks since our last recording. Thank you for those sound effects. I appreciate it. So the first piece of news here that I wanted to talk about just briefly is, I don't know if you saw this, but Deadpool 1 director Tim Miller, he wants to direct the Marvel X-Men movie that's theoretically coming up, and or the DC film The Authority that James Gunn has not seemingly hired a director for that we know of. That seems to be having a tough time getting off the ground, considering that was like in the beginning of his initial DC slate. Matthew Vaughn in 2023 also mentioned that he wanted to potentially direct The Authority too, which is cool. We got a bunch of...
Which is interesting because Matthew Vaughn directed X-Men movies in the past. It's
right.
all
and
connected, dude.
Right. And Matthew Vaughn also, I feel like, I mean, technically kind of Tim Miller kind of directed an X-Men movie too. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Matthew Vaughn is interesting because he already made a kind of misfit team up movie, and that seems to be kind of what The Authority is. Not really a misfit team up movie. The Authority seems to be, from my understanding of it, The Authority is like a bunch of anti-heroes who come together, and they don't. It's basically the ends justify the means as a team. So like they'll eliminate like a leader of a country. They're like, well, it'll fix the problems, kind of thing. And it sounds like a really interesting concept. I have a feeling though, just based on James Gunn's love of this property and the fact that I had never heard of it until he talked about it, I have a feeling he's going to direct it. Maybe. Because I don't know if he's ever going to be satisfied with whoever he gets, because it seems to be struggling to get a script going. So we'll see what happens after Superman. I think when Superman is done, I think there'll be a sigh of relief out of James Gunn and Peter Safran's mouth. They're like, oh man, we did it. If it's good. I'm assuming it's good though, because those trailers that they've been launching, man, they're very good. I didn't watch the most recent one, but I'm sure we'll see it in theaters soon. I don't know about you, but you mentioned, actually, no, yeah, we were in the theater for Mission Impossible, and you were like, did you see the Superman trailer? And I'm like, yeah, we talked about it. Or you said, did we talk about this yet on the podcast? And we did. But it is an excellent trailer. This, I guess, the second trailer or the first official trailer, non-teaser. You know how naming goes with trailers. Dude, I'm just going to say that you cut out about 25 times. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, I keep on cutting out. I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, geez. I am almost like, do we pause and do I just like reset my router?
I'm wondering if I should maybe... I think it's a computer issue, actually.
You think my computer's
I don't
issue?
Think it could be my computer. So we'd have to both pause, start over. Let's keep it. If it dies at any point, like for legitimately, that's more than like, because we're cutting out for like 1 second or 2 seconds.
Okay. Yeah.
So if we cut out for more than like 3 seconds, then yes, we'll both go back to the drawing board. I'll download this first. I don't know. What is this? A fifth of the podcast, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Okay. So any other thoughts on that? On the Authority? Or
it's interesting.
Will you want to direct it? Because Tim Miller's, actually, I meant to say this. Tim Miller's track record, not that many things. He hasn't made that many things. People love Death and Robots. I don't know if you've watched that show.
Never.
And then there's the Secret Level show that's on Amazon that his studio made. And then of course he directed the first Deadpool movie. And he directed that I think it's Terminator Dark Fate, which I don't think was reviewed very well.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. Matthew Vaughn has a better track record, but his most recent movie,
Argyle. Yeah.
Right. And the movie before that people didn't like, but I did. I thought The King's Man was great. So I don't know. I'm confused. I don't know what. I think I'd probably choose Matthew Vaughn if I was going to choose one of these fellas to do it, but whoever's the most passionate, I feel like might pull it off.
I think that's fair. It's interesting that Tim Miller is like, I want to direct the 2 movies that are rumored to have someone attached to them already. He's going for jobs, this guy.
No, I don't think there is anyone rumored to be attached.
Oh, with The Authority? Oh,
yeah, did you see that? Because there might be a writer attached.
Yeah,
it seems like there's a writer writing a script right now, and they're waiting for it to be done. And once it's done, they're going to hire a director. That's what it looked like. And I think it's maybe because also James Gunn doesn't want to hire a director because he might want to do it himself. That's
understood. Yeah.
So I'm curious about that. But a writer, I think, is what they have. I don't think they have a director from what I've seen. Unless it's a secret, unless we don't know.
Yeah, I guess out of these 2, I would like to see Matthew Vaughn directed. I like most of Matthew Vaughn's movies that I have seen. I like X-Men First Class quite a bit. Yeah. I like the first Kingsman movie. I didn't watch or maybe I did watch the second one. I don't really like the second one.
Yeah, you saw it with me in theaters.
Yeah, it was fine, I think. There's some funny bits in it. And then I didn't watch The King's Man,
Yeah.
nor have I watched Argyle.
There's a
So,
really like crazy scene in the second movie. Like crazy. Also, Pedro Pascal's in that,
oh
which
yeah,
is really cool. Because
yeah.
that's like after like he played Oberyn in Game of Thrones, and then he started to like just his career started to like skyrocket. It was just like getting off the ground, and now it's in the stratosphere at this point. But no,
Now he's in everything.
there's a crazy scene in it, like a sexual scene in that movie. I don't know if you recall that.
I do,
It's,
yeah.
It's wild.
The finger
I
blasting.
think back on that and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
We both work in a retail, well, we did before work in a retail store. And there was I came in. Did I come in or did I learn about it? That somebody had put on the golden circle, not knowing that scene was in it in the like the retail store that we work. It was like an electronics store on one of the TVs. And I was like, are you serious? I was shocked. I'm like, you could put maybe some borderline, like some rated R movies, and as long as you know exactly what scenes are there.
Yeah.
But you got to be very careful. Cut. You got to what?
Batman v Superman director's cut.
That was that one's not. I'm almost surprised it's rated R.
Yeah, me too.
But shit, I was like shocked when I heard that. I'm like, are you serious? I always had a rule about not putting rated R movies on there just because you don't want to get caught. Because you're not technically, I don't think you're even supposed to put movies on the TVs anyways, because there's a licensing agreement and you shouldn't do that anyway. So I was like, when I heard the Golden Circle was on, I was like, guys, please don't do this. But anyway, okay, cool. Moving on. Let's look at the showrunner for the new TV show adaptation of Mass Effect, the video game, which is coming to Amazon. The showrunner for this, the person who's just been tapped for it, just been hired on, is the not a showrunner, but the writer for Star Trek Beyond, Mindhunter, which I love, and Chief of War. His name is Doug Jung, and he is now apparently the showrunner for the TV show adaptation of Mass Effect. You love Mass Effect. You just finished the trilogy.
Yeah.
Recently, like within 2 years.
Yeah, within 2 years for sure.
And so I know that you're interested in this because you also sent me this article. What do you think of this?
I find this kind of neat. Again, I'm not familiar with Doug Jung's previous things that he's done, but I know you speak incredibly highly of Mindhunter.
Yeah, it's not his show, mind you. He's just a writer for that. Of course, that's David Fincher's show.
Yeah,
but it is cool that he is a writer.
It does matter.
Yeah, it 100%.
I think it matters because I think the best part about Mass Effect is the writing, right? So getting someone that is an experienced writer in.
Yeah.
I know he is being the showrunner, but I would hope that he understands the source material quite well. And again, he knows how to write good quality scripts. So he's going to be overseeing what's going to be put out there. I think this is a good match at the end of the day. And he has, I guess, he's familiar with sci-fi because he did Star Trek Beyond. I have no attachment to Star Trek. I don't know if Star Trek Beyond is viewed in a positive light, but he obviously has some background knowledge of this thing. So yeah, I'm curious. I don't know if it's going to necessarily be good. I hope it is. I'll definitely watch it when it comes around because I think the world of Mass Effect is really cool, and the setup for it, essentially being that humans far in the future are discovering space travel, and then they find like a alien race, and their first instinct is to fucking attack the aliens as opposed to like have a conversation with them. And there's like a years long war, and then eventually these like alien races bring in the humans into like this galactic federation of sorts, but they were kind of against it for such a long time because they thought humans were stupid and too war hungry. And I think that's just such a cool setup, and I think you can do a lot with it even if you don't follow like the game story, because I don't necessarily think you have to, because it's such a cool universe. Drew Karpyshyn is the guy that wrote I think the first two Mass Effect games. He was the lead writer on, and then he also did like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. So this guy, again, he knows sci-fi well and created an awesome sci-fi world. So I hope Doug Jung, takes it and runs with it and does a really good job. You don't really have an attachment to Mass Effect though, right? You haven't played any of them yet.
No.
Yeah. So
No,
Is this
maybe
something
one
that you
day.
would want to watch, or you feel like you would probably save yourself for the game
I'd
before
probably just play
even
the game
considering?
first. We'll see
Yeah,
how long
yeah.
it takes to get off the ground, though, right? You know, sometimes you tap a showrunner and then it gets like everything gets shuffled around 5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doug Young's most recent thing is Chief of War. I think it's the Jason Momoa Apple
Mhm.
TV Plus show about like the war, like wars
War
in
Chief?
Hawaii. What?
I thought you were gonna say about the War Chief.
No, it's about like wars in Hawaii. It's Tamora Morrison too, like Boba
Oh,
Fett. Pretty cool.
interesting.
Like Boba Fett's not in it. The direct actor who plays Boba Fett.
The character Boba Fett is in it,
Yeah,
played by the same actor.
yeah.
Mark Morrison, yeah.
It's like way back in time in like wars in Hawaii, and somehow
Yeah.
Boba Fett came down with his jetpack.
Mhm.
It's in the 18th century, apparently. 4 major kingdoms of Hawaii were in a state of war.
That's crazy.
follows-
So this is based on real history?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. This is Apple TV, correct?
Apple TV. Yeah,
Yeah,
Apple
nice.
TV.
Interesting.
That's cool.
Quality's pretty solid with most Apple TV things. So
It is. It is indeed. I thought he was a showrunner for this, but it doesn't look like he is. When I clicked around here, I'm seeing that he's not the showrunner. Again, it's funny. There's like the little blurb that comes up in Google. It tries to tell you something, but it's just not. It doesn't look to be correct. Anyway, whatever.
Google
But yeah,
Gemini.
he was an important writer, I think, on Chief of War.
Nice.
So that's neat. Yeah. But yeah, what did you name the Karpyshyn? What is his name? The writer
Drew
for Mass
Karpyshyn.
Where did
Yeah.
Drew go? What happened to him? Like,
He's
I'm
writing
curious
a
'cause
game right
people
now.
love those 2 Mass Effect games, and they love
Mhm.
Knights of the Old Republic in terms of the stories. Partly
Yeah.
mainly why those games are so beloved. Do you know where he's working now and what he's working on? 'Cause I'm super
Yeah, there
curious.
was that game. It was announced a couple years ago.
Did it get
oh,
canceled?
man. No,
Yeah.
it's still coming out. It looks a lot like.
Oh, is it the one with Matthew McConaughey?
I think so.
Or is that not what I'm thinking of? There was
I
like
don't know. They were announced at the same time. I know what you're talking about, and I can't remember what it was.
game with Matthew McConaughey is what I'm typing in. What are you typing in?
Drew Karpyshyn upcoming game.
McConaughey. Oh, it's called
Exodus.
Yeah, Exodus is his game, but is that the game?
I have no idea. I don't remember.
Exodus. It's harder to look up. I feel like.
Yeah,
So-
I think with Exodus, which is funny because Exodus, I think they made a secret level episode about Exodus, which is kind of
Oh.
neat, bringing it all back to Amazon and everything like that. I don't know if this was
It
Matthew
does say it's
McConaughey.
him. The lead
Yeah.
writer for the upcoming science fiction RPG Exodus is Drew Karpyshyn.
Oh, sorry, that's what I was saying. I didn't realize it. I thought you were talking about Matthew McConaughey. Sorry,
Oh no, the first thing I typed in is game with Matthew McConaughey, and again it's Google AI, so take it with a grain of salt.
Oh,
but it
okay,
says
it is Exodus.
Matthew McConaughey is a major part of the science fiction RPG game Exodus.
Okay, cool. Sorry, we were saying the same thing. We're good.
Yeah, that's good. We both looked up the opposite thing that we required. We kind of wasted a lot of time talking about what we looked up, but
Which is good.
it would have been perfect if we were more coordinated. Alas,
Look at us,
look at us.
couple of
Very good.
coordinated fellas.
Yeah, sure. All right. Well, let's see here. I guess that's it for that. I am excited for it generally because I'm curious to see how I wanted to see the percentage of quality game adaptations increase over time. It seems to be like massively increased from 20 years ago. 20 years
Mhm.
ago, video game, film, and TV adaptations were bad. Just generally, you could just say like just blanket bad. Some of them were okay, and most of them
Final
were bad.
Fantasy
And that's
VII
kind of
Advent Children.
bad.
Good shit.
Oh, that was
Good
good.
shit.
There was another one that was really bad, right? There was a Final Fantasy one that was horrible.
Spirits Within. That wasn't
Okay.
based on any of the games. It was they just had the Final Fantasy branding on it.
Sure. I mean that you could same could be said for the Super Mario Brothers movie with
Yeah,
what is his name?
But-
Hopkins.
but it still had Mario and Luigi in it
Yeah, but I mean, was it?
by name. Yes,
Yeah, by name. Is it what's his name?
it's like the two
Hopkins?
different Ellies
gonna
from
drive me nuts.
Ellie the Last of Us game versus Ellie the Last of Us TV show.
Hoskins, not Hopkins. Hoskins. Bob Hoskins, yeah. And John Leguizamo. Did you ever watch that movie yourself? Did you ever
No.
see that movie? You haven't seen it. I've seen it like 7 times.
For fun?
As a kid, I didn't know that it was bad. I was so young. I was like 4, 5, 6. That's when I watched it.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I don't know. It wasn't good.
Would you watch
But
it
I
now?
thought it was good as a kid. I thought, you know what I used to think it was like interpretive art or something. It was like some kind of weird, like it's so wacky that it's like it's almost fun to watch because it's like, what? How would you interpret this character? Like Bowser's just like regular dude with a weird bald head. It's got
Yeah.
like
At the age
like
of
weird
4,
veins
you're
in it.
looking at this and I'm like, this is interpretive art. Yeah.
Well, no, well,
You're one
I
smart
was
little
playing Super
4-year-old.
Mario Brothers, and I was like, oh, this is like a spin on it. I like accepted it. I just accepted it. You know, you're not jaded when you're a young kid. You just don't. There's no reason to judge things that harshly. So
Yeah.
I was just watching. I was like, wow, that's so weird. They got like space boots. So that's not a thing in the game. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's wacky.
I know.
It's
dude.
wacky. It's wacky. But regardless of that, let's move on now, Adrian, to story number 3. Quick bite here, number 3 for the 2-week period that I've chosen. And this one's a more complex one, but I'm curious to see what you think about it. 3 years after the merger between Warner Brothers and Discovery, so to create Warner Brothers Discovery, Warner Brothers Discovery is now set to split into 2 separate publicly traded companies. The primary company appears to be the studios and streaming division, which will be led by current Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav, while the second will be led by current Warner Brothers Discovery CFO Gunnar Wiedenfels, and largely will be composed of both the Discovery Plus streaming service and the large collection of linear TV networks. So this is a strange thing. For anyone who hasn't been paying attention, the initial merger was in 2022. Warner Brothers and Discovery merged. And then David Zaslav, who was in charge of Discovery, took over the overall company. So you have to think that David Zaslav was a big proponent. He wanted this to happen, theoretically. He was probably a driving force of the merger. But now he's splitting it, and he says it's necessary and needed because it will make things more, which I actually I arguably agree with. Like, it will make things more specific, and therefore, like, network TV is not really the same as the studios division. In fact, it's kind of neat because the studios are being split off as almost like the creatives and then a different type of business that's not related. So it's kind of cool. Oh, the gaming division, by the way, is on the studios and streaming side. Just as a note. But even Discovery Plus being on the other side, on the global networks division, like split, is quite strange because that is a streaming service. So you're basically unmerging. Anyway, what do you think of this? You have any thoughts?
I found this wacky. Because this is almost like a flip flop sort of situation. How they made HBO Max.
Yeah.
And now, they made HBO Max, and now it's back to HBO Max. There's a lot of flip floppiness amongst this Warner Bros. Thing.
Yeah.
So it's funky, and I feel like I read somewhere that David Zaslav, like a lot of the debt that Warner Brothers,
is from the linear networks.
Is from the linear network. So he's kind of taking the company, all the good shit, quote unquote. Yeah. I know the gaming division's not doing well, particularly, but he's taken all that and then putting all the debt onto the other company.
Yeah, the parts that have debt. He's not like putting the debt on it. It's just like it's like a weight. It's like a counterweight. The network, the linear networks are getting more and more people are cord cutting. They're not buying linear TV anymore, and so it doesn't make sense to like weigh down the overall studios and streaming services with the debt from linear networks. So they're just basically siloing off the linear networks and splitting off the company, which they're going to be 2 separate publicly traded companies. So they're essentially 2 companies. And so, it makes more sense when you think that Warner Brothers had owned linear networks as well. So it's not like it's just Discovery splitting off again.
Yeah.
Discovery, to be fair, Discovery Plus is actually the most profitable part of that whole other side. But yeah, I feel like isn't Gunnar Wiedenfels being screwed over? It's weird because David Zaslav. This is what you were kind of mentioning there. Is that David Zaslav took over the good part again? Yeah. So he took over the big company. It seems like he wanted to be in charge of like Warner Brothers. That seems like what it was. And then he finally got his wish, and he got control over Warner Brothers. Isn't that what it looks like? I mean, what else could it be?
I don't know. That's my assumption as well. It seems like there's some like crazy internal politics. I'd love a TV show based on this, or a movie based on this
Yeah.
whole extravaganza.
He
Because
seems
David
like
Zaslav,
a fast talker, you know. He
yeah,
seems like he's got the goods in terms of his charisma or something. I don't know. Maybe he's great,
or he's
you
a
know what?
backstabber. Definitely is a backstabber.
Would definitely.
Yeah.
What do you mean definitely? The interesting thing is like I've heard many things about people saying that David Zaslav has just been bad, but I don't really necessarily agree with that. I think like he took over when HBO Max was kind of just starting, and HBO Max is largely pretty successful. I just saw the numbers like it's 150 million subscribers. It's like, how? We don't even have that in Canada. Like, is that just in the United States? Like how many nations is HBO Max even in? The comparative number is Netflix is 300 million. Netflix is at the top. But like you have 150 million subscribers. I don't know. That seems high. HBO Max subscribers. If you can do me a favor and look up how many nations HBO Max is in.
That's what I'm looking up right now for you, partner.
Yeah, 150 million for sure is what they claim.
So you can watch HBO Max in select countries. It doesn't say.
It's not. It says maybe that's the AI overview. Maybe that's not right again. Let's say it's near 150 million.
Yeah, 4 days ago, Hollywood Reporter said HBO Max to launch in 12 countries in July.
Is that the 12th?
But then it says total? As WD streamer closes in on 100 markets. So.
Oh. Really?
Bring the streamer to a total of around 90.
What the heck is that?
Because of Crave and Bell.
Yeah, Bell's stopping it then. I prefer to have HBO Max probably.
Dude, me too. Fuck Crave. I have the basic Crave as well. Everything's in French. Why is everything in French, Simon?
Are you having that issue?
Yeah.
I hate it. It really annoys me. Netflix is in, apparently, according to Google AI, 190 countries.
That's crazy.
Oh, this is in Wikipedia, which I trust more than Google AI. Which is terribly ironic. Because what did we learn in school? That Wikipedia could not be trusted. Wikipedia has never been wrong in my experience. And I I've historically double checked Wikipedia because I was always worried that it'd be wrong because that's what I was told by every teacher I ever had in high school. Don't use Wikipedia. Wikipedia is right. And then Google AI is like literally in AI in general, just forget Google AI. AI in general, ChatGPT, whatever, is like filling up the internet. Everyone asks it questions and no one ever questions it. It's just I never hear anyone say, don't worry, don't trust it. It's strange. Yeah. Like it's so ingrained in every facet. And I heard Wikipedia is bad. Well, I'm not in school, so maybe they're saying don't trust AI in school now too. It's just, don't trust AI. Or don't source AI is the new don't trust Wikipedia, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought this was funky, so I thought I would bring it up because I thought it was. But I do like the streamlined nature of splitting off the companies because I like the idea of them getting focused, and I don't want Warner Brothers to die off. They have a lot of really cool IP. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say. It doesn't seem Zaslav was completely failed in everything. I also think like him hiring James Gunn was a really good decision. I will say that. I don't know yet. We'll see how it pans out. I am getting the impression based on Superman and like Peacemaker and what he's done so far.
Creature Commandos, dude.
Yeah. He's not failed yet in any capacity. He's done a great job for everything. We'll see if he can keep up that track record. But I have a feeling just based on how passionate he is and based on what Superman looks like, I just love the bowl cut on Nathan Fillion. Man, it's just good. It looks great. I'm very excited.
Trousers, baby.
Trunks, you mean?
Yeah, sure.
Wait, sorry, you're mentioning his underwear?
Yeah, Superman's trousers.
Trousers are pants.
Whatever, dude. I don't speak British. God.
Right? Am I wrong about that?
Trousers you're probably right. You're probably right. You want to Google? All right, let's pause the show again. Trousers. Those are pants. Those are pants, like Simon.
Google time the show.
Trunks.
The Google episode.
When you Google Trunks, it brings up Trunks from Dragon Ball Z.
So that must be what it is.
Yeah.
So Trunks is in the new Superman, confirmed.
Yes. Maybe we'll finally get the who would win, Superman versus Goku. We're finally going to get that.
Yeah, that's what it is. That must be what he's already merging the two universes. He hasn't even started his own DC universe, and he's going to merge the Dragon Ball Z universe with the DC universe. That's incredibly wise. It must be what he's doing. Okay. Let's now move on into our what we've been watching segment, Adrian.
Sure.
Before we get into the thing we watched together, which is obviously Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, which we watched together at a Cineplex near us. What else did you watch? I haven't watched too much, to be honest, so I have little to say again. I've been playing a lot of video games with the video game hype this week, but I ask you, what have you watched, sir?
Cool, man. So funnily enough, Simon, remember when I told you I was going to watch Andor on the plane and I was going to finish off Andor on the plane? And then you're like, really? You're going to watch it on your tablet? You're going to watch it on your tablet?
Yeah.
And then I was like, I was on the plane and I was like, you know what? Simon's right. I shouldn't watch this on my tablet. I'm going to watch this when I get home from my trip from BC.
Yeah.
And you know what happened, Simon, when I got home?
You couldn't access it.
No, Disney Plus fucking kicked me out. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell? So I haven't watched the rest of Andor yet. I'm going to get a week trial of Disney Plus just before the Bear season 4 drops. So I can finish Andor and watch all of the Bear.
Okay.
And then
that sounds good.
I'll subscribe to Disney Plus once Alien Earth starts airing. So I haven't watched Andor. But when I was in BC for like a work event thing, conference, I had, kind of a day where I had a little bit of extra time, Simon. I was wandering the streets of Victoria, ate at a couple cool food spots. But I was like, I got quite a few hours because my plane left in the evening, like late at night, actually. I should say night. It left at like 11:30 BC time.
Yeah. PM.
Exactly. PM. Good call. So I had a little bit of an afternoon and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to the movies in Victoria, BC by myself.
Oh, cool.
I had some time and I was like, what am I going to do? Just walk around. I got my bag with me. I don't want to walk everywhere. I'm tired. So I was like, I'm going to go and watch Final Destination Bloodlines, Simon.
Oh, nice.
Because it was one of the movies that I know you didn't really care to watch. My fiance didn't want to watch it either. I didn't really know anyone that wanted to watch it. So I'm like, this is actually a good opportunity for me to sit down and watch this.
Right.
So I went in, and if you don't know, Simon, Final Destination is a franchise. This is the 6th movie. I've only seen the first 3, but you don't have to really watch them. They're not super connected. There's typically, one character that's in most of them. It's funnily enough, it's Tony Todd, God rest his soul. He's in, I think, the first 3, maybe 4, and then he's like a voice in one of them, but he's in this and plays a prominent character. And the premise of Final Destination typically is someone has a vision that they're going to die along with a bunch of other people are going to die. And so like the first one, it's like a plane crash. Second one is like a highway car crash thing with logs coming out of a truck. And so someone has a vision and stops everyone from dying, but death doesn't like that. Death is like this entity. You don't see them, but they are like, hey, you can't cheat death. You had a vision. That's not okay. So I got to kill all these people in significantly worse ways now, right?
Everybody.
Yeah.
Did you understand that reference based on the laugh? Or no?
That's from... oh my God, why am I forgetting it? Simon, spit it out now. We are
Lost?
everybody. Yeah, okay, yeah.
But you know why I'm saying it?
Am I allowed to say why?
No, don't say it, but you know why.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
okay, good.
Okay.
Good.
I was like, it's a spoiler.
I'm just worried that you don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know. You didn't even know. I have to say the word. It's a one-word title of a show.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Sometimes you don't get my references and you just awkwardly laugh. So I just want to make sure that...
I just want to make you feel okay about it. But anyway, I know why you're saying
it's like that, though. It's like that.
It is. Yeah, it is. Okay. Right? So that's typically the premise. But in Final Destination Bloodlines, there was this woman that had a vision back in, I don't know, like the 70s or some shit, 60s, 50s. Doesn't matter the year. But her vision was so severe that it literally killed hundreds of people. Like as opposed to, typical Final Destination fashion where, to be fair, the plane crash would have killed a shit ton too. But only 10, 15 people leave those situations. So she sees like this crazy event happen. A bunch of people are going to die. Like, again, hundreds of people. And she stops it. But since she stopped it, death has to go back and kill all these people. But it takes a while for death to go through all the people to kill. So while he's going through and murdering a bunch of people, in brutal ways. These people are having kids, and those kids are having kids, so on and so forth. So the premise of this is there's a woman that has this vision, but it's not a vision of her dying. It's a vision of her grandmother dying, the same vision that her grandma had back in the day, Simon. So it's now like, okay, death is coming to kill that bloodline, that family bloodline, and is going to wipe it out because the grandma was never supposed to survive in the first place. And this franchise is fun. I liked it as a kid. It's very campy in a weird way. It's very like it knows what it is. At least this one does. It knows what it is. So it's more of a horror comedy than like just a, horror like gore fest. The deaths are brutal, very brutal actually. They're pretty gross. But again, there's this level of campiness and comedy layered throughout the entire movie. And when these characters are talking about the situation they're in, it's just very like, oh, like that's kind of absurd. Like that makes no sense. But when it starts happening, they realize what's occurring and actively try to stop it. And yeah, it's a good time, man. Like it's a genuinely fun time. The reviews of the movie are shockingly great as well. I looked at it after. I feel like I remember them being good, but I think it's like a 90 something on Rotten Tomatoes, which is crazy. And I kind of get why. I'm just kind of surprised because I don't think this is a movie for everyone. It's a 92 on Rotten Tomatoes. But again, it's just a movie that really knows what it is. Plays up the, ultra violent gore, crazy deaths, while again making the viewer laugh quite consistently. So yeah, really good watch. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Nice. Yeah, you have any experience with Final Destination at all?
No. I've watched clips. Lots of clips show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to be scared of going on a roller coaster, etc.
That's Final Destination 3, Simon.
There you go.
It's Final Destination 3.
There you go. I just realized it's not we all everybody. It's you all everybody.
Oh, yeah. You all everybody.
Yeah. You all. I feel like that's funny. I always thought about this for that show. You all everybody. I feel like they didn't actually have a song, and then they just had somebody riff that line.
Yeah, Dominic Monaghan, right?
Yeah, and then, you're right, and they just had him say it over and over again. And then later on, they're like, I guess we got to make a song now because like Lost is full of flashbacks is like the main thing they do constantly. Yeah. So it's like, I guess we need a song now. Oh damn. But it's not bad because it's like it's a cool little jingle to begin. It's a good starting spot, I guess, for a song.
It's silly. Man, I miss Lost. Cool. Another movie I watched, Simon, is another horror movie.
Okay. But
very different type of horror movie. So
Captain Underpants.
It is Captain Underpants, man. But he shit his pants the entire movie. He's trying to hide, like trying to rub his shit from his pants on people. And that's why it's like a serial killer, but it's just poo hands from his pants.
What? You know what Captain Underpants is, right?
Yeah, I read that when I was a child.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
I was like, what are you talking about?
I'm just trying to make a horror twist of Captain Underpants.
Right. Well, no, it would be horrible. Imagine that was you. Imagine you make a Captain Underpants movie, but it's in the perspective of the principal. What's his name? And then you're like, and then you wake up and you're like, you're in the middle of a shopping mall in your underpants with a cape on. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh my God, how horrible would that be? How much anxiety would you have for the rest of your life? You just be thinking about that every time you go to bed. Because you keep waking up in these situations where you just realize, you're not Captain Underpants and you're actually a principal of a school. Anyway, that was an inside baseball reference to Captain Underpants. Yeah, you could. He could have been arrested. Imagine he's just in jail for years.
Sex offender
and Kim Kardashian's trying to get him out,
Yeah.
That's the thing she does, right? I think.
Does she do that? I don't know her well enough.
Apparently, she tries to get people out of jail who are like wrongly convicted. That's kind of her thing.
Good for her.
So I think if Captain Underpants was in jail because he was hypnotized, you know what I'm saying? It would not be his fault. It would be those children who would have to go to jail. So she'd try to get him out of prison. I assume. Anyway, this is really sidetracked. What were you saying you watched again?
The other horror movie that I watched, Simon, is Bring Her Back.
Right, that was terrifying. That one, I would have probably gone to see Final Destination potentially, like if I had no other thing I wanted to watch as a priority. But as a priority, but like I won't think I would ever have seen Bring Her Back because it looks absolutely terrifying. Like Sally Hawkins, I think she might have died in the end. I don't know.
Why do you
Is
think
this
that?
is this the movie? It looks like she's in a really bad way. That's what I mean.
Oh,
But honestly, what was I going to say about Sally Hawkins? Sally Hawkins, is this the movie that she chose instead of Paddington?
I don't know. I assume what she chose instead of Paddington was Wonka.
Oh yeah, 100%. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, never
But
mind.
but yeah, so Bring Her Back. This is the second movie by Danny and Michael Philippou. I might be pronouncing their name wrong. The previous movie was Talk to Me.
Yeah.
I'm a demon hand. If you hold my hand, you see demons and they possess you.
Yeah. Also looks terrifying.
Did you ever watch? You didn't watch Talk to Me, did you?
No.
Talk to Me
looks less terrifying, to be honest.
Far less terrifying.
Yeah.
It's still like, spooky, but there is like a layer of comedy throughout Talk to Me because it's just a bunch of kids being a little rowdy.
Cabin in the Woods type
no
tropes. Like that aspect of they're all alone in the basement and they're all kind of
yeah.
Home Alone.
It's like these like kids being like, ooh, it's essentially like experimenting with drugs, but the drug is holding a hand and like having demons.
Yeah, they're all daring each other.
Yeah. Talk to Me, really good movie. Bring Her Back is amazing as well. But I really want to stress this, Simon. I really like this movie.
Right.
But I never want to watch this movie again. This is one of the most upsetting movies I've ever seen in my goddamn life. This is actually one of the very few times, I can't even think of the other times. This might only be the only time where I genuinely felt sick to my stomach watching a movie.
Oh, wow.
Where I'm glad I didn't get popcorn for this. But I genuinely felt sick. There's these moments in it. So Bring Her Back it's Sally Hawkins. She's a mother. She lost her daughter a few years prior, and she becomes like a foster parent. And there's these two kids, Andy and Piper. I've never seen them in anything before. And Andy's like the older stepbrother to Piper. Piper, she's like half blind, like she can see colors and shapes. And they go home from school one day, and their dad, presumably killed himself or died in the shower. And this is like within the first like few minutes of the movie. So they get put in the foster care system, and Sally Hawkins adopts them. And, fairly quickly they realize, Sally Hawkins's daughter passed away a few years ago. She's taking care of another kid named Oliver, who is a fucking weirdo. That is said by one of the characters in the movie, and is like a mute. Right. So Piper, she can't see properly. Oliver can't speak. And Andy is like, just, he was kind of a shitty kid, but like he's trying to be better and wants to be, Piper's guardian in a few months when he turns 18. And that's kind of the setup of the movie. But then a lot of weird shit starts happening around the house. Oliver is kind of, again, is a fucking weirdo and starts doing weird things. And Sally Hawkins, seems to be almost against Andy as a character. And I don't want to dive into this movie because the way it unfolds is genuinely amazing. But at the same time, it is so fucked up, dude. Like, so fucked up. And I left the theater being like, I had like a face of like almost like disgust for the rest of the evening. I felt not good. I didn't feel good internally. I didn't feel good about watching it, but I didn't regret watching it. And I'm glad that I consumed this sort of piece of art that brought out such a strong emotion in me. Again, if you are a fan of horror, and I highly stress this, like you have to be a fan of horror, be okay with some pretty intense gore, I would recommend this movie to you. In general, though, I would probably not recommend this movie to the vast majority of human beings. It's fucked. But again, I really loved it. Never going to watch it again. I know I'm being very vague about it, but it's tough to talk about without really giving away kind of the plot and premise. There is actually one bit of the movie that I really didn't like. And again, to keep things a little vague, there's like a mess around the house, like around Sally Hawkins' house, and someone is coming over to her house. And the timeline is so unclear, but it's like she cleans up her whole house in the matter of 10 minutes. And it's like, there's no fucking way in hell you could have cleaned up this house. that quickly. That is really the only part of that movie where I was like, this it just took me out of it briefly. But apart from that one piece,
Who made this big mess?
no, but it's like absurd because the person like shows up and they're like, everything looks okay. I'm like, there was damage everywhere. I don't know how you clean this up. The damage.
Yeah, it's the clown from friggin' Comfy Couch.
Honestly, it would have taken days, not
crazy.
like minutes, to clean it up. And it felt like the movie was, if anything, maybe a couple hours. I'm like, you couldn't fucking clean this up as one person in a couple hours. You could not.
Right.
It's absurd. But yeah, really great movie. Otherwise, really enjoyed it. But yeah, those are kind of the two movies I watched.
Yeah.
Still watching the OC, and I've been passively watching one show, Simon, because my fiance's been watching it. She's into it. This is kind of her own show, but I'm sitting there pretending I'm not interested. But honestly, I kind of am.
Okay.
Vampire Diaries.
Oh,
Vampire Diaries.
Sure. Okay.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Yeah, it's good. I watched
It's
I watched 4 seasons of it or something.
Oh, you did?
Way back in the, oh yeah, back in the day when it was airing.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
I just stopped watching it for some reason. I can't remember why. It's just there's so many good shows. It started to move into the territory of the golden age of TV. I feel like more so and more, like closer and closer, inside like the Breaking Bad era and everything like that. And I stopped watching the more network oriented TV shows. But yeah, it's not bad at all. It's crazy because that aired around the same time that's Twilight aired, but this is so much better in every way, in my opinion. It's just more realistic. It's more violent. It feels like an actual vampire story as opposed to like sparkling people in the sun.
It also has Ian Somerhalder from Lost, bringing it back.
Ian Somerhalder, yeah, that was his next show after Lost, pretty much like his next big show.
Yeah.
But
I really like him in the show. He's very charismatic. He's one sassy ass bitch.
Yeah,
he's a sassy vampire bitch, and I like him.
Yeah.
He's very like. Yeah. Anyways, I feel like he's very gay coded in a weird way, just like his his sassiness. But he's also just banging women all the time, and he's also murdering so many people. He murders like 18 people in the first episode. You're like,
it's crazy. He's a serial killer, man.
And then you're watching it, and they're like, but he has good qualities. I'm like, this motherfucker kills so many people.
I don't know how far you are in, but like when you get to a certain point, you're like, wow, how can you like this guy?
Yeah.
We're
finishing season 1. We're finishing season 1. We
eventually get to points where like people just accept this guy more and more and more over time, and you're just like, I don't understand. Am I missing something here? This guy's a freaking psychopath,
dude. They already are by the end of the first season. They're like, oh, he's all right. He's not.
He's literally a psychopath. That is the definition, though.
Yeah,
he takes pleasure out of murder.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I don't know.
By far the best character, though. As a viewer, I love watching him.
I like Alaric quite a bit, actually.
But who's that one?
He's like the vampire hunter dude.
Oh yeah,
that guy also vaguely looks like Harrison Ford. And I had a theory that he could, if he ever made it, he could have done the young Han Solo. Yeah, because they were like casting that. I was like, I feel like he could do it, but I don't know if he's got the acting chops. I've never seen him in anything else. So but yeah.
Cool. That's it. That's all, baby. That's it. That's all. Except for what we both watched together. But before we go into that, what did you watch, man? Or what did you play?
I mean, moving through. This is not a video game podcast, but I've been moving through Andor. Oh, actually, yeah, and I've been playing Star Wars Outlaws alongside that. But Andor, I'm on episode 2 of season 2 now.
Nice.
So I'm not close to the end. I just watched season 2 earlier today. It was the beginning of the season's pretty funny though, because like just like what Diego Luna's character is dealing with. I feel like that's the funniest part. He was dealing with in those first 2 episodes. It's like, what? It has a little bit of the vibes of like the casino in The Last Jedi, a little bit. In the way that the casino ends up playing out, if you like look at it from start to finish.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's like, because people don't like the casino sequence because they feel like it's kind of like there's a useless aspect of it. Like nothing happened. It's like, but things did happen. It's character development, and it's also like it stages the. Theoretically, it could have staged the next movie, but they didn't use that. Let's go with that. It's interesting. Canto Bight is actually in Star Wars Outlaws, the game I'm playing too. Canto Bight's like in the beginning of the game. There's a lot of really cool, like, it's an open world Star Wars games, but there's like a lot of open world environments in various planets that you've both seen in Star Wars and not seen. And one of the places is Canto Bight, which may be part of the controversy because people don't like Star Wars Outlaws for, I think, stupid reasons. But yeah. Anyway, that's it. And I've been playing Expedition 33 Clair Obscura. I took your recommendation. I purchased it last episode. Was it last episode?
It was
episode
at the end.
111? Yeah, I bought it at the end of the episode, and it's been good so far. I'm only 6 hours in still. I really like it. I think the story is very emotional. I can see where they could make a pretty cool movie. I'm curious to see how, like, it's very, like, surrealist, or I don't know what you would call that, but it's like the idea, like this, like, it's almost like a French painting consistently.
Mhm.
And so I'm curious how they would actually make that into a live action. It's supposed to be a live action film, or they didn't maybe confirm that. Maybe it's going to be an animated.
Yeah, I don't know if they confirmed it either way. I assume live action, but yeah.
The facial animations are interesting in the game, though. Like, they're very realistic. So I feel like you could easily, I think live action would make more sense. Here's a question for you. Actually, that's great. This is a good segue to film and TV. If you were going to cast the main character, at least in the beginning of the game, Gustav, who would you cast as the main character? Would you cast Charlie Cox or someone else? And the someone else that I think he looks like is Robert Pattinson.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's like, I don't know if they try to cast Robert Pattinson. I want to clear the air on this, though. I think Charlie Cox does a phenomenal job. So
That's
like,
good.
I have no like gripes with it, but I'm kind of shocked that he looks so much like Robert Pattinson, like the character does.
He does.
Not Charlie Cox. Charlie Cox doesn't look like Robert Pattinson almost at all. But it's interesting. I don't know if you would cast. Would you just cast the original people? Like, would you cast Andy Serkis as the role that he plays, et cetera, et cetera? Don't spoil anything. But
yeah, I would cast Andy Serkis in the role that he plays. The only character I probably wouldn't cast with the same actor would probably be Mael, who is played by Jennifer English, and it's because Jennifer English is
an adult woman.
Yeah, she's an adult woman. But apart from that, like, I think you could honestly cast the same actors in it. I just don't really know, apart from Andy Serkis and Charlie Cox. I don't think any of the other people have been in many, if any, live action stuff. So, but yeah, I do. Yeah, I think the casting is good, and I do agree with you. I when I started the game, I leaned towards my fiance Cassandra. And I was like, this guy's very like Robert Pattinson coded, and she's like, yeah, weird. I can see it. So
yeah,
I'm glad that you're liking it, though. I'm
liking it so far. I don't want to pass too much judgment because what am I, 10% in?
Give or take.
No, I'd be more than 10%.
Like, if you're looking at the story wise, you're probably like a solid 20% in.
Yeah.
Give or take, maybe.
I'm loving the combat aspects of like the way the combat operates. So it's interesting. I like how it's action. Like you. So my issue with turn-based combat is always I play video games for the immersive elements of a video game. That's kind of why I play them typically. And so you feel like you're in control. And the games you feel most in control is when you're doing action. You're committing to the actions directly for the characters. And turn-based is tricky because you're given each character and then you're asked to do an action through a menu. So it's obviously there's a disjointed nature of it. But in this game, you can dodge and parry and do various actions on the fly when an enemy attacks you, and you're in full control of that, and you can it just feels very in control. And the parry windows and stuff like that where you're trying to block an attack are pretty tight, which is pretty cool too. Like tighter than the game I just played. Like parry is a huge part of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Massive part of it. It's because you're sword fighting all the time, and so it's much easier to parry in that game. Although people find the combat difficult in that game for other reasons too, but yeah. Anyway, I really like it. I'm curious to see if it will be turned into a live action film. I hope it actually gets off the ground and it's not just sitting in a drawer somewhere. Like, oh yeah, we have the licensing for this. Maybe we should do this. It's like it's 2045. I don't know. Like that could happen theoretically, but
2033 maybe. That'd be good branding.
That would be great. That's not so unrealistic. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the crazy thing. They sold 33 million copies. Sorry, 3.3 million copies on the 33rd day. Like by the 33rd day.
Yeah.
Which is pretty poetic.
It's awesome. I'm glad that it's doing well. It's a really neat game. It's my favorite game of the year by far. Maybe that'll change.
My favorite game of the year is the game I just mentioned, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. It's funny because it was ups and downs for me. It's such a long game. It's like 100. I was 148 hours in by the time I finished it. The cast of characters in that game, especially by the end, I'm like, this is like Red Dead Redemption 2 level cast of characters because you're with this cast of characters for so long. It lacks the polish of a Red Dead 2, but like the characters are like I'm like, man, I love this guy. There's like always these characters like, wow, this person's great. There's like, it's amazing. It's incredible in many ways. That game is the opposite of a turn-based game, and it's incredibly immersive. You're playing first person. Your combat's like very visceral. You're playing every parry strike. You're attacking.
Yeah.
You're parrying whatever. Every attack you're parrying, and then you're attacking the opponent, whatever, with a sword as realistically as it could be, I guess, in a video game. Anyways, let's move on. This is not a video game podcast, Adrian. This is a film and TV podcast. So let's move on now to the thing we both watched this week. We both watched it in theaters. We talked about it a little bit briefly. Our experience in the theaters, not the greatest. It was Cheap Tuesday. The people in the theaters, not necessarily in that particular theater, not necessarily the most respectful, but we did watch Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, which Tom Cruise is still insisting is the final movie. We're not going to spoil anything here, as we do not on our podcast. I'll just throw it to you. What did you think of director Christopher McQuarrie's Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning?
Simon, I thought this movie was pretty darn great. I think it has, in my opinion, like a breakneck speed at the beginning with some very interesting creative choices, but where it all leads is incredibly satisfying, like high level thoughts. I think the action in this movie is awesome. I think the villain in this movie is pretty charismatic, and kind of the way they go about that villain is really cool. There's some amazing stunts, very emotional moments as well throughout the movie. This did kind of feel like a nice, like swan song to the Mission Impossible franchise. But I guess kind of how you alluded to, like, I think there is potential for more. Like, they could continue this if they wanted to.
I would say there's way more potential for more than John Wick after John Wick 4.
I agree.
And I'm kind of shocked, actually, that they're so adamant that this is the end, because John Wick 4 is somehow continuing. I don't understand how, because even like Chad Stahelski, I think, recently said, like, we're looking for a way back into the story. It's like, wait, didn't Lionsgate confirm this is happening? Like, how are you confirmed it's happening if you don't have a way into the story yet? I don't know. It's a strange one. But again, not spoiling the reasons why again, either of these things could continue or could not. But anyway.
But yeah, I thought this was a really enjoyable, like, 3-hour romp. I was cracking my knuckles throughout the movie, but when I wasn't cracking my knuckles, Simon, I was kind of at the edge of my seat, prayer hands, right up against my lips, kind of, oh my goodness, what's going to happen next? After eating my bag of popcorn, which I waited to finish consuming before until after the start of the movie. I didn't want Tom Cruise walking in and pointing at me being like, you ate all your popcorn already. The movie hasn't even started. Like that one kid is never going to live that down. But yeah, again, it's kind of tough to talk about like a Mission Impossible movie at high level, because it's really like the plot serves the action. The action doesn't serve the plot in a lot of ways. And that's kind of how I felt. I think especially with this movie, I feel like a lot of it was like, oh man, this would be really cool to fucking fly a plane and have these crazy plane portions of this movie. And it's like, how do we get there? How do we get to that point?
Maybe the flaw of this movie, though? Like, isn't that the issue? Because I don't think that's the case. So, sorry, I don't want to cut you off. I can
no.
segue.
Please continue.
So I watched all the Mission Impossible movies in a row. I went crazy. I got Paramount Plus as a free trial. I didn't end up paying for it because I just kept getting free trials because they pissed me off so much because their customer service sucked, and they never fixed my problem. Really, they never fixed it, and they had no remorse or any apologetic bone in their body. Nobody cared that I had a bad experience at all, and so I'm never probably ever gonna get Paramount Plus and pay for it. But alas, I didn't steal it. I just got the free trials that they offered. But I watched all the movies except for Dead Reckoning, which was then on Netflix, and I watched Dead Reckoning. Oh, I started You, the show, not you. Yeah, not you. I started this TV show with Penn Badgley called You.
Season 4?
Yeah. I started season 4 because we got Netflix, and so we watched one episode. So yeah, I'm not far into it. But regardless of that, watched all 7 Mission Impossible movies up till 8, which is Final Reckoning.
Yeah,
and it's interesting because the first 3 movies, I liked the first one way more than I liked it when I watched it initially, which is interesting. I had a problem with the first movie because the first movie, I mean, it's the beginning of a franchise of movies, but it's not the beginning of the franchise in general. In fact, it's a sequel to the TV show from the 1960s that was then rebooted, I think, in the 80s. And so there's this idea that it's a team of this IMF force. That's probably why the name of it is so cheesy. Impossible Mission Force.
Which I think, when do they name drop that for the first time? Is that the fifth movie?
First movie.
Do they say that in the first movie?
Oh, maybe they don't say the name of it. They just use the acronym.
I think they just use IMF. I can't remember which movie it was. I remember when they said it. Because I binged watched the first, I think, 5 movies leading up to Fallout 6.
It might have been in Fallout. Was it in Fallout?
I'm
not sure. There was a moment, though, in Fallout. I think it was in Fallout where there was a comment about it, about how it's just a stupid name. Mm-hmm. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I remember because I binge watched the first 5 movies leading into Fallout, and I remember there is a part because I actively remember. I think it was the 4th, maybe the 5th, where they say it's the Impossible Mission Force. And I was sitting there being like, "Wait, what the fuck? That's what IMF stands for."
It's such a horrible name.
Yeah, it caught me so off guard.
But it's probably because of the TV show. It's got to be that.
Yeah.
Because it's cheesy. It's the 1960s, and it's fine. But regardless of that, my point about it is that if you look back on that first movie, it was. Mm-hmm. The whole point of the show is that you have this team. They're going on these impossible missions and they're doing these crazy heists, right? And then the movie's just like, nah, this is just a vehicle for Tom Cruise. And it just basically makes it that. And it's just a Tom Cruise movie, and it's true. And they still dabble with having a team, and they eventually kind of
Ving Rhames' character specifically
gets introduced and things like that. But I feel like that was it really kind of pissed me off at the time. I'm like, of course it is. Movie star Tom Cruise has to have his thing.
Symmetrical face Tom Cruise.
Made me annoyed. But then as it went on, the second movie is by far the worst. And then the third movie I find is incredibly flawed and kind of incomplete. I found it was I was not satisfied after watching that. But I thought that Philip Seymour Hoffman is a great villain. Awesome. He's probably one of the most compelling, because he's such a great actor. Philip Seymour Hoffman is just a great actor. That's what. He is still, because he's in film, but sure, he is in that sense. Yeah, he's dead. Why didn't you say rest in peace or something? Was.
That fucking guy's dead, dude. That amazing actor is dead
so much
now.
Disrespect. Yeah. Anyway, so moving on from that, then honestly, after the first 3, then it just hits its stride. Mm-hmm. Brad Bird comes in with its Ghost Protocol, and it's just that movie's really good, and it has elements of a Pixar movie. And you can tell he's a Pixar director in some way. It's Michael Giacchino doing the score, and the whole thing with climbing, it's the Burj Khalifa, right? He's climbing the freaking building and stuff. But there's this idea that they have all this faulty equipment, but they still manage to plan everything. And the heists, they make all this planning, and largely the thing about Mission Impossible that always strikes me is interesting versus every other spy movie is that it's all heist movies, and there's little heists, and they're almost fooling the audience constantly. Mm-hmm. But it's also incredible action set pieces, and there's a little bit of quirky comedy, and there's funny moments, especially after the third one. Where
I know you talk about the third one being flawed, but I really love the third one because that's I feel like it set the stage for every movie that comes after, because that's when Simon Pegg's introduced.
That's true. It is a bit funnier.
Yeah, that's the true. Movie where it finally feels okay, we got a team dynamic, right? And I think
a little bit more so, sure. Mm-hmm. Sure, just going right into it in the beginning of it.
Yeah,
but it's just it felt incomplete. We don't really find out everything about it. It's I don't know. There's something about it.
It's J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, it's just J.J. Abrams. I don't know. I liked it. Okay, it's not terrible, but anyway. The cool thing is you mentioned this in the theater when we left for Final Reckoning. You're I like 3 because it sets the stage for other things too, various characters are carried over too. Mm-hmm. That's the other advantage. There's also Michelle Monaghan's character, and so that's important. But yeah, Ghost Protocol is, I feel when they hit the stride in that they're truly a standalone, a really excellent movie. And when I watched Ghost Protocol years ago, I was oh, I like Mission Impossible. I didn't realize that. And I had seen, I think it was 3 in theaters for a birthday party in a Cineplex, in my hometown, way back in the day. And I was this just seems fine. I don't know. I'm not that into this. And it felt like that kind of like, and then I went back to 1 and I was like, it's fine after I saw Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation. But Rogue Nation and Ghost Protocol, killer. They did such a great job. And then Rogue Nation, again, after Ghost Protocol, does great. And it's these little heist moments, again, this planning. There's degrees of planning that all these characters have going into their situation. They're very smart, and they're very clever in the way that they outsmart the villains. And that's a huge part of the movie. And there's the spy elements of like, it's an espionage thriller. So you're constantly questioning who's the real villain and what is their motive. And you're kind of wondering what's going to happen next. Are we going to discover some crazy thing? Like that's like this classic spy genre of like a James Bond movie or yeah. There's a mystery element with the action, and like there's like a little bit of intrigue, which is great. But Fallout is legitimately one of my favorite movies ever made. And it's funny because it wasn't initially when I saw it in theaters. I don't think I gave it even the credit that it deserved, but I definitely talked it up its praises, and I constantly said it was amazing. I said it was like one of the best action movies ever made, but I feel like as an action movie and as a movie, it's excellent. The thing that Fallout does so well is that right from the get-go, there are so many little plot elements and little clever tricks that the writers are trying to fool the audience as the clever characters are fooling the villains in various ways. They still lose in small ways, and they have to like recover because the villain is outsmarting them a little bit too, but it's like a chess match, like a complicated chess match. And the pacing of that movie is crazy. It's set piece after set piece, but then they like set up the next heist. And there's like heist after heist, which is like, it's crazy. It's like the best example of what a Mission Impossible movie can be. Then we go into Dead Reckoning. Sorry, you want to say something?
I was going to say, it also has Henry Cavill with a mustache, and he reloads his arms like shotguns.
That is amazing too.
Yeah.
That is cool. And I like Jeremy Renner in the other two, Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation. I thought that was great, and it was kind of sad to not see him come back.
Yeah. It's because he exploded. Not in the movies, just off camera. That's my headcanon, is that Jeremy Renner exploded.
I think he had a kid. That was the reason. Anyway, the real reason he had a child. The thing is that Jeremy Renner got run over by a snowplow. So I thought that's what you're referencing. And I'm like, that's also kind of disrespectful.
I didn't do that. That's why I didn't say that, Simon.
Seymour Hoffman and Jeremy Renner on the same podcast. I guess.
I didn't do that. I didn't do it. I don't know why I did that voice.
Yeah. Anyway.
I don't know if I'm allowed to do that voice.
Fallout is excellent. And it's like there's like never a moment where I'm like, doesn't work. Dead Reckoning, I don't know what happened. For me, Dead Reckoning is not written well. The set pieces are excellent, the stunts are excellent, but overall, the overall franchise of Mission Impossible isn't just completely about stunts. And it shouldn't be just about the action. So I think the plot is served by the action and vice versa. In Fallout, but I don't think that that's the case in Dead Reckoning. I don't really understand like Dead Reckoning, especially the way it I mentioned to you in the parking lot briefly about Dead Reckoning and how it treats its women. It's very weird. Rebecca Ferguson is such a great character, as an example, in Fallout and Rogue Nation, right? Yes.
Yep.
Amazing. One of the best characters in the franchise. But the way they treat her in Dead Reckoning, in favor of just like having enough, it's like they can't have too many women as like on screen too much. Like I don't know what that's about because it's just not a thing. I don't like Haley Atwell is great, but I don't really understand. Like there's this element of like Tom Cruise is gonna save them or something. Yeah, there's like a hero complex of like you're saving the women. But in my opinion, Rebecca Ferguson's character like is arguably the most strong. Like she's the strongest spy.
Yeah. I would make the argument that Rebecca Ferguson's character is arguably the best character in the franchise apart from Tom Cruise.
She's very entertaining. It's excellent. And I also love the relationship in Fallout as an example.
Yeah.
Like there's almost like a platonic relationship there. It's very interesting. It's strange. Like you can't quite place it. You're like, what is this? What is this?
It's cool because it's like this could be romantic, but they're putting but they're like, nah. It's almost like we have other shit to deal with. Maybe in another life this could have been something, but it's like there's this level of mutual respect and friendship that they have that is just so palpable. Their chemistry is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I really love it. Yeah, I do
incredible.
agree with you. Yeah.
And then when you go into Dead Reckoning, they're kind of like they're underutilizing her. But they're also doing these weird flashback things where like Tom Cruise has got to like save them, like as if they're not capable. But I mean, to be fair, Haley Atwell's character is like introduced as a noob right away. Yeah, she's just a person. She's a civilian, essentially. Yeah. So it's strange to me that, like, again, what are you doing with Rebecca Ferguson considering she's a stronger character? I don't know. I'm just it's confusing because Fallout, at the end of the movie, they have like the women characters kind of do it, like they're amazing. They're really well written overall. I don't understand what they were thinking in Dead Reckoning. I have no idea. I still don't get it. And there was like a moment, and I think it's like when he's going off that famous jump that he takes the dirt bike and goes off the cliff. He like does a flashback where he like remembers all the women in his life. And I'm like, why are you doing? It's very jarring. I can't even believe it. I don't understand it.
Is it corny or is it, oh my God. I messed up. I was going to say Ethan Hunt is a horny cunt, but all
right.
But I messed up. The perfect setup. But he's definitely a little bit of a horn dog.
The other thing that's the problem that's a strange offshoot problem. The real issue with Dead Reckoning, and then moving into the movie we're talking about, which is Final Reckoning.
Yeah, took you long enough.
We'll get there eventually. You know what? I'm tired. I think we're done. But no. But the issue is this. The characters, the team, doesn't seem to be able to plan anything out properly or have any clever answers to the villains. And they have there's very few reveals where it's like you're trying to fool the audience. They're just serving the set pieces. They're just like, let's move on to the next one. It's like, okay, no. Like, what are these characters stupid now? Did they get hit in the head? Did Tom Cruise hit his head when he was parachuting off a cliff by accident or something?
It's almost
like,
what's
happening?
They have like this level of hubris where they're just like, I'm going to get into this worst situation because I'm the luckiest guy alive and I'll find a way out of it. Yeah.
Right. But that's not fun. That's not the fun part, is that they're getting in these situations because they're being forced into them. And then they're figuring out a way out in the most clever way possible. There are so many clever ways to get out of the situations in Fallout that I can't even believe it. It's so well written. It's shocking. Fallout is not like super pushing their stunts, but they're remarkable as well. Like the Halo jump, like the low altitude jump they do is remarkable. But that situation was, again, it's bad luck, but they're so smart. The characters are smart and the writers are so smart that they recover in these very clever ways. They just don't recover. Man, there's a moment in Fallout where they drive down a narrow alley. Do you remember this? They like planned to drive down a narrow alley with a garbage truck. I don't want to spoil it because it's just remarkable. But
I don't remember.
They drive down a narrow alley with a garbage truck, and I was just like, this is like a great sequence. I recommend watching Fallout again because it is a 5 out of 5 for me. It is an excellent movie. I love it. Anyway, moving on to Final Reckoning. How many minutes was that?
48.
We're at it. We're here. Final Reckoning has the same problem. They're not smart. I don't know what's going on. They all hit their heads somewhere. They were in a room with carbon monoxide for a little too long, and then they came out, and they're like not smart enough to figure anything out. This isn't really a spoiler. No, it's not. The team gets made too often. They're getting like caught. They're getting caught
like 6 times.
They're getting caught constantly, and I'm just like, did you not come into this with any planning? And then when they get caught, and they're in situations they're really caught, they're like they have no plan to get out of it. Like, you didn't think you would get caught here. That's in the first half of the movie. Essentially, I thought the movie wasn't good because it's just multiple times. It's just like they're never planned anything out. Even the way it was shot, there's a certain sequence in like this weird basement where like there's like a couple characters like kind of handcuffed. That sequence, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like, you have no plan. There's nothing. And then the way it's shot is weird. And the dialogue between them is strange. Like, you have no plan. In Fallout, is this Fallout? No, which one? Oh, it's Rogue Nation. There's a scene very similar to that. Very cleverly written. And I don't know if you recall that scene.
No.
Similar idea. Characters are handcuffed. And they get out of them in a very clever way. And Tom Cruise's way, like, he gets out of that scene in Rogue Nation. Crazy. One of his best stunts. But again, the stunts are more subtle. Like, he does them for real, but they're not like some crazy thing like you're going to fly a biplane. like, why are there two? Is the question I had in this movie for Final Reckoning. But I'm not spoiling again. That's in the trailer.
Mhm.
But I'll say, to finish my thought here, I find that it's just not clever, and the writing's not clever. And you're exactly right. I think that the way the words you described, the the plot is serving the action.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that's the best way to describe that. In fact, I'm going to write that down. The plot serves the action.
You're going to use that in your letterbox review, aren't you?
No.
You should do that and then quote me.
Yeah. Hey, the plot serves the action. Adrian Pinter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then this is what I thought the movie wasn't that good. It was fine. I thought it was serviceable. Then we get to the midway point. There's a moment where there's an underwater sequence, approximately, not maybe midway, somewhere around the middle. And I was like, this underwater sequence is one of the most unique and awesome things I've ever seen on a movie. And I was like, James Cameron, take note. And so,
whoa,
shots fired.
Yeah.
But no, I just didn't love Avatar: The Way of Water that much. It's called The Way of Water, and I find that this underwater sequence is better than anything underwater in A Way of Water. And I couldn't really tell that it wasn't CG in A Way of Water. That's kind of my criticism of it. Whereas this felt like, I'm like, how much of this was filmed practically? Because it feels like all of it.
All of it was filmed practically. He dove 500 fucking feet into the water.
No, not that practically.
And then he was in the submarine. It was crazy.
When we say it's filmed practically, we don't mean it's actually the exact situation the character is in.
The exact situation the character was in, it was filmed that way. What makes it even more impressive is a cameraman filmed it all. He was in the exact same situation and he was filming, dude. It was nuts.
Yeah.
But no,
I don't want to get into
you.
details of the scene because we didn't, obviously.
I do agree with you. That's kind of the I was enjoying the movie, honestly, up until that point. But that is the movie. That is a moment. Oh, sorry. You keep on talking. You want to talk? You want to talk?
Yeah,
I'll let you talk. No, please.
I just didn't finish my thought.
No, finish it.
Then you interrupted me with your thought on practical effects, which is nonsense.
No, please. You're right,
I love your thoughts. I've been talking for way too long. I explained the entire history of the Mission Impossible movies for 30 minutes. So please, go ahead.
It's a good scene.
No, come on. Whatever. So my last moment in the slot here. That scene is incredible, but it's not just that scene. After that, it doesn't really lose a beat, and then they're just recovering from that scene, but they find, again, not very clever ways to do the next scenes, but the action is really, really great, and the writing is quite emotional, actually, especially nearing the end.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was a very strong payoff for what it is. And lastly, in relation to the emotionality of it, but also the stakes being high. The stakes are very high, but the stakes are higher in Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning than the other movies on a political level. They actually show off some of the politicians and they show off the generals. They don't usually do that in Mission Impossible. And they do that in the trailer very obviously. Mm-hmm. And they show off how these characters are reacting to a very serious situation, which is weird because the other movies, they don't really react and you don't see them react. So they could be reacting to it. But there's this idea that it's almost a nuclear holocaust as the plot in every single movie. Like, it's always like, oh, is there going to be a nuclear disaster? And you never really see the impact of the rest of the world.
Where's Tom Cruise when you need him right now? You know?
Oh dear. Yeah.
In the real world.
I'll throw it to you because I've talked way too long. But that's kind of my thought process, is that by the halfway point, they improved it. The writing's not that tight. In the beginning, it's not tight at all. And I feel like they went away with the heist aspect of Mission Impossible. And they just said, well, let's just do another action set piece. It's like, that's not that good. That's not the point of it, but it's definitely amazing because of what you see in the last half of the movie, because it's crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's almost like it's funny that you say this because I feel like there's a scene specifically in Dead Reckoning that is very reminiscent of the Uncharted franchise. I think Uncharted 3 with the train, and Uncharted I feel like 2. That's is it 2? Yeah, sorry, 2. 3's the plane. But yeah, in Uncharted 2. With the train sequence. Yeah. And it's kind of like the movies almost became like an Uncharted flick where it's all about the set pieces without any setup for the heist. So it is cool. I do agree with you. I don't think I don't remember Dead Reckoning much, unfortunately. Like, it's funny. I feel like I remember the other movies more than Dead Reckoning, which I guess speaks to the quality of the film. But yeah, I do love Fallout, and I think Fallout is by far the best movie in the franchise. And I think I don't think Final Reckoning or Dead Reckoning are close. I mean, yeah, I don't think they're close to that quality. But I do think this is a very satisfying ending, assuming this is the actual ending. I do also really like how, like, throughout this entire movie, it felt very anime in a way where they kept on doing flashbacks to all the previous movies. They'd be like, "Oh,
I love that."
Yeah, and it like it's cool because it's like, you know, as someone that has watched all the movies, and again, this probably hit even harder for you because you watched all of them recently. It was nice to have these like little reminders because they go in depth. There's a lot of flashback sequences in this, but it doesn't take up too
they
much
also
time.
do like nostalgic callbacks in a more deep way. And again, not going to spoil this at all, but that's what like the some of the nostalgic callbacks. That's actually again where the middle of the movie just starts getting better. Is that they just start to do these things where they're like, we're taking the rest of our history, like the nostalgia factor, very seriously, which I really appreciate. But I don't think I finished my thought. Just for one more sentence to say.
Oh my god!
So I mentioned in the beginning. I know. I mentioned in the beginning. So Mission Impossible 1, right? I am actually going back to the but Mission Impossible 1. The problem was it became an action vehicle for Tom Cruise, and then that's what disappointed me. They filled in the rest of the movies in the center of this franchise with movies that are really clever, really well built, heist movies that are team movies that focus on the team more than Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise almost falls into the background. He's the coolest guy, but he's cool in the most subtle way, which is the best part about it. Then in Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning, you do the opposite, and they go back to what I didn't like about number 1, which is let's make it another vehicle for Tom Cruise, and all the other characters don't matter at all. They're just not important anymore, and he's the coolest guy, and he's going to save the day. That's not interesting. It's interesting when Jeremy Renner is like does a badass sequence, or Simon Pegg does something cool, or Rebecca Ferguson for sure does so many things that are cool.
Any scene she's in.
They lost the idea that like again, it's about the team, buddy. That's what it's about. Not about like Tom Cruise
doing stunts.
But it is when you put Tom Cruise's stunts in between it, like you did with he's hanging off the side of a jumbo jet. Another, by the way, another sequence from Uncharted. Literally, same sequence. He gets into the plane and he's fighting on a. You remember this?
Yep,
it's the same thing. I actually thought about this too. Like, Uncharted great call out because I thought about it while I was watching all the movies. As the middle of the movie comes through and it moves on, like there's a quirky comedy that's in it that's similar to Uncharted, but also the set pieces. We've never seen set pieces like this in any movie because they're really doing it practically and they're doing it in the most incredible way possible. So to see movie set pieces like the Uncharted set pieces is like remarkable. So it is kind of like that. There's this quirky comedy. There's a spy element in Uncharted a little bit. That's like the same as Indiana Jones has that kind of spy quality. And so that's a great call that you made. It's true. Then there's lots of those kinds of sequences. But
thank you.
But yeah, that's why I didn't like it, is because it goes right back to the problem I had with number 1.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Cool. So if you were to rate this movie and then also rate all the Mission Impossible movies in order from worst to greatest, how would you do it, Simon?
You actually want me to rate them from worst to greatest?
Yeah, but I don't need your re-review. Just give me the number order.
My phone's in my camera, so I can't get
fine.
My
just remember it. Go off the cuff.
So the best one's worst to greatest. Worst is number 2, for sure.
Agreed.
And then, if I recall correctly, second worst is number 3.
Oh,
and then third worst is number 1. And then fourth worst is Ghost Protocol, so number 4. And then Rogue Nation's great, number 5. Fallout's really great, really, really great. Oh, sorry, Fallout's not the next one. I just went to chronological for some stupid reason.
Yeah, I don't know why you did that. I was confused.
I just got confused. I gave you the wrong order, clearly. So it's 2, 3, 1. No, 2, 3. I can't remember it. It's a letterbox. It's on my phone.
Oh my god, dude! All right, I'm gonna do it real quick. All right, mine's 2, 1, 7, 3, 4. Sorry, No. 2, 1, 7.
It's harder than you think.
3, 8, 4, 5, 6. Boom. Boom.
4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's how mine is too. It's 4, 5, 6.
Oh yeah, good for you. Good for you.
4,
Thank
5,
you.
6, but the Dead Reckoning 7 and 8 are after 1, 2, and 3.
Interesting, yeah. Mine's not
Approximately.
bad, but yeah.
So it's like 2, 3, 1, Dead Reckoning 7. Actually, I think Dead Reckoning is worse than 1 actually. 2, 3, 7, 1, 2, 3, 7, 2, 3, 7, 1, 8, 4, 5, 6. There we go.
Okay. Good job. Good job. We finally got that done. We're never talking about Mission Impossible again until after we rate this movie on a scale of rotten potatoes. How many potatoes out of 5 do you give it?
This one is a 4 out of 5.
I'm in agreement with you. 4 out of 5 as well.
Yeah.
So 8 potatoes out of 10. That's a fresh potatoes. That's 8 fresh potatoes. You could make 8 baked potatoes. That's 1 serving for an ogre.
Treat the team better, and it could have been a 4.5 out of 5.
Could have been.
Treat the team better and have them actually be clever.
Yeah.
That's the key. But yeah.
Cool.
How long was this review? Like, was this the whole
78
time?
minutes.
Oh wow. We're not getting paid for this. We can make it as long as we want, Adrian. We can make it as long as we want.
Fuck we want.
I know. Isn't it great? Oh my god.
It is
All
great.
right. Okay. Now into the segment of our show called The Montage, Adrian, a sequence of our show in which I briefly present 7 of the bi-week's smaller news stories as Adrian delivers a brisk verdict. Number 1. According to publication The Hollywood Reporter, director David Fincher's upcoming sequel to Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood will begin production this summer and will star F1 actor Brad Pitt, The Crown actor Elizabeth Debicki, and Hawaii Five-0 actor Scott Conn.
Nice, dude. Funnily enough, Brad Pitt also starred in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the movie that this TV show is a sequel to.
Yes, that is the point.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2, as reported by publication Deadline, Warfare actor Kit Connors is in talks to star in Warfare director Alex Garland's upcoming Elden Ring film adaptation.
Amazing. I thought we knew about this, but maybe we just talked about the Elden Ring movie and not about this guy being in it.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Number 3, as revealed by horror studio Blumhouse, Maw 2 is in the works with Maw actor Octavia Spencer returning to star.
That's awesome. You can actually say that movie's coming out once it's the movie coming out time.
Did I will this into existence?
I think so, yeah. I think so. Did you see the sticker I sent you on it on the iMessage?
Yeah, I said we're ready to go, and you sent me a picture of Octavia Spencer holding a gun from Maw 2. Good times, good stuff. Number 4, according to reporter Daniel Richtman, Schitt's Creek actor Emily Hampshire has been cast as AI Edith in the upcoming Paul Bettany starring Vision TV series from Marvel on Disney+.
Wonderful. Good for her getting a role in the MCU. I keep on forgetting that this show's coming, and I'm excited about it.
MC me?
Yeah,
Number
dude.
5. Number 5. As confirmed by Black Panther director Ryan Coogler, Gladiator 2 actor Denzel Washington has been cast in Black Panther 3.
Oh, I thought we already knew this as well, but maybe this was just rumored for a while.
It was rumored, he just confirmed it. Number 6. As announced by MGM Studios, creator Mel Brooks is developing a sequel to the 1987 Star Wars parody film Spaceballs, which is set to be directed by Strays director Josh Greenbaum and launch in 2027.
I never watched the first Spaceballs, but did you watch? Did you enjoy this movie?
I watched it so long ago, but I remember it fairly well. It's pretty good. It's pretty cool. The trailer for this, the teaser, is pretty funny.
Oh, I didn't watch it.
It's worth seeing because they just do like the Star Wars crawl, like the title crawl, but then they say this is a sequel to a movie that's a. They keep mentioning sequel over and over again, and and mentioned how many sequels have come for every other movie franchise, but this movie, which was initially made in the 1980s.
It's 40 years later. It's pretty nuts, like when you think about it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Number 7, as announced at the Annecy International Animation Film Festival, Luca director Enrico Casarosa is directing another Pixar animated film called Gatto, which is set for a 2027 release. Will take place in Venice, Italy, and follow a cat named Nero, who questions his life choices.
Oh, I like this. I like this premise. I like Luca as a movie a lot. This is actually like a Pixar movie I'm genuinely gonna be excited for. I'm not excited for it yet, though.
And that concludes the montage.
That's crazy, Simon. You only said 7 stories this week?
I know.
That's weird.
Gotta keep you guessing, you know? You gotta zig when they think you're gonna zag.
Yeah, dude. For Black Panther 3, you think they're gonna make the E a 3?
That would be horrible.
I hope they do that.
It's so bad, though. That's like a telltale of a potential bad movie, I feel like.
Black Panther.
Like Fantastic?
Fantastic, yeah.
That was a bad sign. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Was that guy's name Josh Trank?
Yeah. I don't think he's done anything since.
I know. That's sad, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
Poor guy. He did that Chronicle movie, I think, before that, right?
Do you think it was his fault? I don't think so, right? It was studio meddling. Wasn't that what they say? I mean, who knows? How would we ever know?
I do know, wasn't there a lot of issues between Josh Trank and...
Miles Teller?
Yeah. Didn't they want to like fight each other? Or
I think you told me that, so if you're going to give me more color...
Do you remember what I told you back then when I remembered the story, Simon?
I think that was all you said.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Anyway.
Cool.
All right, well.
Cool.
It's now time to get on to the topic of the show, Adrian, for episode 112. It's a topic which concerns Netflix's To Doom event announcements, which literally happened... To Dumb? Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Sure. So it's the event announcements. The weird thing is that this event happened like just around when we recorded last time. So we were like 2 weeks late to all of this. But who cares, right?
But thanks for accommodating me.
Oh, right, because you went to BC. That's why that was so early.
Victoria, BC, yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't blaming Final Destination.
I wasn't trying to point out that you screwed us up.
But now you are.
No, I'm not. I'm never.
No, it's fine, dude.
Well, I kind of did it now in passing, weirdly.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's okay. Anyway, on May 31st, Netflix held their annual Ta-Dum global fan event where they announced and teased many upcoming TV series or movies.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go through the list here, and then we're just going to break each one down, okay?
Do it.
Let's just do it. And then if you don't have anything to say, he's like, I don't give a shit, and we'll just move on from it. And I'll say if I have anything to say, I'll say it. But anyway, the first thing they talked about, they showed off, or actually it's not, this is completely out of order. I think this is the last thing they talked about. They showed off a new Stranger Things season 5 trailer and announced that the final season will be split into 3 parts, which is interesting. The 4 episodes of Volume 1 will air on November 26th. The 3 episodes of Volume 2 will launch on Christmas Day. And the finale will air on New Year's Day. I watched the trailer.
New Year's Eve,
sorry.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve. What did you think of this? Did you watch the trailer for it? And are you excited for the last season of Stranger Things?
I honestly don't even remember if I watched the trailer. How long was the trailer?
It's not long. It's like a teaser. I feel like they didn't reveal much. But
then I probably did watch it. I don't really remember it though. I think this release schedule is kind of silly, personally. I kind of like cool. November 26th, good day. Yeah. Quality day to release stuff. But then 3 episodes on Christmas Day, dude. I guess everyone's off.
Yeah.
But
at the same time, for that whole week, you have so much time then to catch up. And then there's a little bit of hype for the finale. You like week to week for that reason, the anticipation. Yeah, actually, that's the only reason I like week to week, to be fair. Because there's a little bit of anticipation, but the week to week, the gap is too long in a week. I would rather like every 3 days or a week, like Andor's release schedule of releasing every week 3 episodes. And then you can kind of pace out what you want to watch like that. I would go with that for everything. Netflix doing it all at once is fine because I can do it at my own pace, but there's an advantage of kind of spacing it out because then everyone's talking about it for Christmas. They're all with their families. And then on New Year's Eve, everyone's maybe talking about it at the New Year's Eve parties. It's kind of a sound strategy, honestly. People get together. You put shows or movies around where people get together, they talk about it word of mouth. It travels, and then people go watch it. Marketing itself, kind of.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
I guess it's good in that sense. I just don't know. Like, I don't know. There's always so much stuff going on Christmas Day, on New Year's Eve.
But you're not watching it on Christmas. It's not like you have to watch it or it disappears. It's not a Snapchat, Adrian. It's going to be there after Christmas Day. What are you doing on Boxing Day? You chill out, right?
Yeah, I guess I'd be off on Boxing Day. But I feel like Stranger Things is like something that gets spoiled like immediately. It's that cultural phenomenon where everyone's like, oh my God, it's fucking this guy, this person does this thing. So I don't know. I feel like it was an odd choice to release it on those days personally, because I don't think I'm going to find the time to watch it on those days. But who knows, Simon? I'm not on those days yet. Maybe I'll find the time. I think I'm going to rewatch all of Stranger Things leading up to this.
Whoa.
My fiance's never watched it.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
So I'm going to sit her beautiful butt down and make her watch it with me.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thanks, dude.
Because that's pretty good. It seems like based on the shows that she seems to watch and the movies that she seems to come to the theaters with us for, I feel like based on that, I think Stranger Things could probably be up her alley. There's only like one season of Stranger Things in which I don't love.
Is it 3? I feel like it's 3, right?
No, 3 is the mall one. I like the mall one a lot.
Oh, 3 is the mall one. Okay, it's 2. 2, yeah.
2 is like a rehash of 1. Like they didn't have any ideas. They weren't sure what to do. And then
they get a little bit more cosmic in 2. Like they have like way more like supernatural elements, which I appreciated, but I could see why that maybe turned people off. But yeah, 3 was because that's when they introduced Maya Hawke's character and stuff, right?
Yeah, as well. Yeah.
3's great. 3's really
the mall aspect of it and like the style change of like the because they moved into another era a little bit. I think they moved into the 70s. Is that right?
Something like that. That seems right.
The 80s.
That also seems right.
When did
I don't know the time.
Oh boy,
I don't know the time.
Stranger Things. When does it take place? Is what I'm typing in. Does it take place? But yeah. So yeah, and then I think I don't know. I guess season 4 is so good. So
it's really good.
It mostly takes place in the 80s. So as a decade, that makes sense. Of course, it takes place in the 80s. What am I talking about? Of course, it's not the 60s. Idiot. Like just based on what they're doing, and they're playing like D&D. Yeah.
Didn't.
Yeah, it makes sense. Just based on what they're wearing and stuff. But anyway, it's really good. I'm excited. It's going to be the end, and then they're going to have a million spinoffs.
You think? Oh yeah, they announced a bunch of them, didn't they?
Yeah, they didn't talk about it at the Tadam event though, so that didn't happen. From what
maybe we won't get any. Who knows?
I think we are. The Duffer Brothers are, I'm sure, hard at work. Okay, the second thing that was revealed, and this one I don't think you have any interest in at all, but maybe. They revealed a Wednesday season 2 clip while announcing the release dates for part 1 and 2 of this of that season, August 6th and September 3rd, respectively. So August 6th is part 1, and then September 3rd is the airing of part 2. I watched Wednesday. I liked it, actually. It's pretty entertaining. I think that Jennifer
Ortega.
She's a good fit for the role. She just does a pretty great job in most things that she's in. She's pretty solid. This is good. I'm not a big Addams Family guy. I did watch it a bit. Like I think I watched that cartoon. Was there a cartoon as a kid? No, it was a live action TV show, right?
I watched the live action one.
That's the one. I watched the live action TV show
with what's her name. I watched the movie as well. With that's the one I watched the most of. Addams Family movie, and it was great. What's her name?
This is like a cool, it's like a boarding high school drama.
Yeah, Christina Ricci was Wednesday. That's the one I watched.
Oh, played Wednesday. Oh, I thought you were talking
in 91.
About, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd.
They were talking about, for some reason, the mother. What's her name?
No.
I could have told you Christina Ricci. That's the only actor I know from that.
Christopher Lloyd, dude.
Because Christina Ricci is also in the Wednesday show.
Oh, is she?
Yeah. In a pretty significant role, so it's not really
she was also in 1995's Casper.
I don't know why I say not really a spoiler. It's not a spoiler. I'm pretty sure she's in the trailer. She's also in Casper. Anything else?
I liked the 1995 movie Casper.
I did too.
Yeah.
I have a story about that, actually. I think I meant
Please
to
tell
tell
me.
this as like a banter topic at some point, but I was watching Casper, the Friendly Ghost at home. I don't know why I was home. I might have been homesick or something like that on like a Friday. I was
Nice.
just in my basement, like watching Casper.
Alone?
And then I watched the end of Casper. It was playing on Fox. Like it was playing on like the Fox like network channel.
Mm-hmm.
As like just a movie of the week or something, a movie of the day. And my dad comes home and he comes down. And he's like, "What are you up to?" And I'm just like, "I'm just watching Casper." He's like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just watching it on." I said on Fox. I think that I said it on Fox, and I thought I said on Fox pretty much my whole life. But then I thought about it recently, and I think maybe I didn't say on Fox. And the reason why I said that is because my dad then said, "You watched it on what? You can't watch that channel." And I'm like, what? And I was so confused as a kid. I'm like, I can't watch Fox. Like, what's wrong with Fox? There's like, no, I wasn't watching Fox Business. I was watching like the Fox. There was many different versions of Fox. I think there was like a Fox like family, wasn't there?
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching that
Probably.
version of it. And I realized later in life, and I think I only realized this like 3, 4, 5 years ago, that I probably said Fox. And I know that I did that. He thought I was watching like a porn channel on TV because he was so alarmed. I was shocked. He was like, "What are you talking about? You can't watch that. Don't watch that." And he kind of laughed a little bit, like he thought it was funny initially. But it was me as a child. I was a kid. And I didn't know what I was saying. I just said the word weird in like a lispy way. Anyway.
Casper getting fucking blasted.
Yeah. It's like, what kind of Casper was this? Yeah, anyway.
Cool.
Okay, well, that's it. Let's move on to the next thing that was at this event here that I wrote out of order. They also talked about the Guillermo del Toro fall releasing movie Frankenstein, which is starring Oscar Isaac. And I watched the trailer for this because this trailer was the best thing that I saw. I think from everything that I watched from this. Very interested in this movie because of the trailer. I think it's excellent. Also, Oscar Isaac's great. So
yeah, is Jacob Elordi playing Frankenstein's monster?
I believe so.
Yeah,
I believe so. Not in the trailer though. I don't think he's shown. They don't show Frankenstein's monster.
It's cool. I like that because it shows this. Oh man, what's the word I'm looking for? Like it shows. I don't know. I can't think of words. It shows this holding back. They're like, we're gonna hold this back.
Yeah, I don't know what the word would be.
Restraint. It shows restraint.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was strange from a trailer perspective because like a lot of trailers just give everything away. Yeah, 100%. Mm-hmm. It's a problem in modern trailers, especially like we're gearing up, you and I, to play Death Stranding. The trailers for that are way too long and they seem to reveal too much. And that game's going to be remarkable, I'm sure. And I'm very excited for it. But I have also had to stop watching the trailers, and you stopped watching them right from the beginning because you were smart.
Yeah. So I watched the first one. I'm like, great. I'm never watching another one again. Again, bringing up the Game Awards that we talked about at the beginning, there's a trailer for Death Stranding at the Game Awards at one of the press conferences.
The Summer Games Fest.
Oh, Summer Games Fest. Sorry. Yeah, my apologies. And I literally, the trailer started and I ran away from the TV and I closed the door. I had people over.
That's the best
yell
part.
When it's done.
That was the best part of it, is that you ran away. My family has a family friend. His name is Owen. And whenever there would be anything, we would go to a movie together. We went to a movie. We saw Age of Ultron together, my brother Owen and I. And we were in the movie theater watching the trailers. And then there was a trailer, I think it was for Rogue One. I can't remember quite the timeline, but it might have been Rogue One, one of the newer Star Wars movies. And he literally got up and left the theater. Like we were in the middle of the seats in like a very tall, like a pretty big size theater. He got up, he like looked away and like just left. And I was like, wait, where did he go? And my brother's like, he doesn't want to see the trailer because he doesn't want to get spoiled. I'm like, oh, wow, that's incredible. But he didn't do that for any other trailer, just Star Wars. It was just like very crucial that he left for if it was Rogue One, definitely maybe worth it. That trailer, the first trailers for Rogue One, though, just excellent because of that alarm sound. The Empire alarm sound.
That one?
Yeah,
where it goes,
so it's just it just pulls a reaction out of me. It's great. It's awesome.
It's a good one.
Emotional.
I feel like I nailed the alarm, by the way.
No. That was just about as good as your Raptors Your raptor noise that you make.
Don't even start with me. Simon.
Sounds like a seagull, like a dying seagull.
No, it doesn't.
Do
dude.
it. Do it, and let the audience decide. The one person
No.
who decided to listen through the entire Mission Impossible history. The history of Mission Impossible by Simon Eady.
Coco-ca-cha.
Yeah, right. Okay. What are we on? So I'm very excited about this. I'm super. Is Guillermo del Toro's? Oh, it's funny. Guillermo del Toro's in Death Stranding. That's a weird coincidence. But no, Guillermo del Toro's last movie, wasn't it the movie we saw together in theaters? What was that called? We saw it like a double
Shape
bill.
of Water.
No, we saw Shape of Water movie. We saw a double
Was it
bill.
his last movie, the Pinocchio movie? I didn't watch that.
Did he do Pinocchio?
I thought so.
Wait,
The
no, that
Netflix
was still
one.
before. Am I wrong? No. You don't even know what I'm talking about. We went to the Waterloo Theater. Remember?
No.
We went to the Waterloo Princess Twin Theater, and we saw a movie by Paul Thomas Anderson, and we saw a movie by Guillermo del Toro. Nightmare Alley. You're right, Pinocchio was after it. It was a year after.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done with your years. Good job.
Look at that. I didn't even watch that Pinocchio movie.
And then, no, we did Guillermo del... Oh, that's a TV series, but the Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. Yeah, the other one we watched that same day when we watched Nightmare Alley was Licorice Pizza by Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah.
You remember that day at least at all?
Dude, I remember that day. I remember spending that time with you.
Okay.
I've been chasing a double feature with you ever since, but you're always like, I'm tired.
It was a double...
It was a Bradley Cooper double time.
Yeah, it was a double feature. It was a Bradley Cooper double feature.
Yeah.
Or was it double Bradley Cooper feature? Something like that. Anyway, let's move on. Do you think this will release theatrically, the Frankenstein movie?
I'm going to assume no, because Pinocchio didn't. And that was also a Netflix movie.
Huh. Interesting. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it might not. There's a lot. I looked it up to see if they already had a plan for it. Google AI instantly said, yes, it will have a theatrical release. And I was like, I don't think that's right. And then I looked it up some more, and then everyone's asking whether it's going to have a theatrical release. So people don't know.
I'm smarter than Google Gemini.
I would say no, probably too. I think there'll be other probably before Narnia, but I think Narnia is the big one that's going to have, like Greta Gerwig's Narnia will be the big IMAX release in theaters.
Rock and roll.
From Netflix. But Narnia was not at this TEDM event. So the next thing that they talked about, or at some point in the show, was the 2026 season 2 of the One Piece live action series. They teased season 2 by showing the character, the strange ass, weird squirrel looking character, Tony Chopper. Yeah. And Adrian, I'm not a big One Piece guy, but I know you are. I know you watched all 1,200 episodes of the animated show. And of course you watched
100%.
The live action show, which you've said you like. So
yes.
What do you think of this?
Yes, Simon. I'm watching One Piece right now as we're talking. It's constantly playing.
That's the only way you could watch it, because how the hell would you get through that many episodes? Realistically.
Yeah, no, I actually haven't watched much of the One Piece anime. I watched like the Toonami stuff that aired on YTV, but again, I don't really remember it. And then I watched the first few episodes of the anime after finishing the live action series because I really liked it. So I've only seen this Tony Chopper fella in pictures. I haven't seen him in the show, I don't think. But he looks like a cute little fella. He's got like moose horns. He looks like a bear squirrel, man bear pig from South Park. Not actually. But I don't know. I thought this was a cute way to talk about the second season. And I feel like this Tony Chopper is going to be a welcome addition to the cast and crew. Just seems like a friendly little fella.
There's something about it when I saw it. It struck me as that. What is that? Animal Boy? It was Animal Boy with. I
know what you're talking about.
Not Nick Forte. Will Forte. Forte's
I know what you're talking about.
Animal Boy. Animal Boy, the show on Netflix.
Sweet Child.
Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr.'s produced show. Oh, Sweet Tooth.
Sweet. There we go.
No, it can't be Sweet Tooth. Is that Sweet Tooth?
It is Sweet Tooth. It is Sweet Tooth. 100%, dude.
Isn't there like a character in like Twisted Metal named Sweet Tooth as well? Or it's just a coincidence? Yeah, there is.
It's just a coincidence.
The clown is Sweet Tooth, right?
I think so. Something like that. But no, Sweet Tooth is the name of the show.
Yeah, you're right.
Because like, hey, Sweet Tooth. And then he's Big Man. I watched the first 2 seasons of that. I think it's done. I don't really like season 2. So I didn't bother with the third season.
Oh.
The first season was really good.
Yeah, I liked the first season quite a bit. It was good. Netflix has got some good shows, like overall. The problem is they dilute it. That's always the issue for me. They've got great content.
Yeah, and I feel like it takes a long while. And again, like when you drop all the episodes at once, the break in between seasons, that's already a few years, feels that much longer.
They need to do this is why this is a good plan to release things in these segments. They should do these half seasons constantly. I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah. I mean, they did that with Arcane, right? They did 3 episodes, 3 episodes, 3 episodes, 3 episodes.
That's still done too quickly though, because it's just week on week. So like you kind of have to split like you season 3. You season 4. Sorry, we're on season 5, right?
No, it's the last season is 4. Is it not?
No, I think we're on 5. Yeah, I think we made a mistake last episode because we talked about this. Because like the first one is in New York, the second one is in LA, the third one is in LA.
The fourth one's in the UK.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah, okay, it is season 5. Didn't they drop all of you season 5 at once though?
Yes, so mistake is my point. But season 4 they didn't. That was my point. There's a season 4 they split it into 2, and it was a good idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Out of this discussion about Tony Chopper, what a weird ass name. Number 5 on my list here is the Daniel Craig starring third Knives Out movie, where he plays the classic detective Benoit Blanc. In director Ryan Johnson's sequel to Knives Out called Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. This was teased. It's a very small teaser. It's mostly text, honestly, from my perspective.
And then they released some photos.
Oh, okay, yeah. And they gave a release date. December 12th is the day in which this comes out.
Cool.
What did you think of the trailer? And
I mean, there wasn't much of it, but like again, the first 2 Knives Out movies were really good. So, and again, I like The Last Jedi. So
yeah, I like Looper.
Too.
So
yeah, I like Looper as well, Simon.
I still want to watch, although it's on CBC Gem, which isn't the greatest, most sound streaming service, but I'm pretty sure it's on CBC Gem. Maybe it's on Global.
I think it might be on City. No,
we
it's on
didn't even
City
say the
TV.
name of it.
Poker Face.
Podcast,
Sorry, Poker Face.
It is. We just talk about it. We just are on the same wavelength. Nobody knows what we're talking about. Yeah, Poker Face, the Peacock show with Natasha Lyonne.
I think it's on City TV, Simon.
Is it?
Yeah.
I can't tell if you're serious, but
I am serious.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll probably jump into that at some point. But
cool.
Anyway.
I'm excited. I'm cool. I'm going to watch this.
Actually, I don't know if you ever heard Ryan Johnson say this, but I'm pretty sure he said this. So, obviously, the Knives Out mysteries are whodunits.
Yes.
The Poker Face is the reverse, apparently. You see the killer. Mm-hmm. Did you hear him say that?
So you know who the killer is right off the bat, and it's not about the end, it's about the journey to get there and the cast of characters.
Yeah, it's how'd they do it, as opposed to who done it.
Who's done it?
It wasn't. I can't remember. He used some key phrase. Maybe it wasn't how they did it. But anyway, I thought that was pretty neat. Neat flip.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing that was talked about, and I'm actually pretty interested in this because Ben Affleck and Matt Damon work really well together. Obviously, they're friends from years back. But the crime thriller Rip was teased, and it was given a January 26th, 2026 release date. But the teaser, apparently I couldn't find it, and maybe I didn't look now, so maybe it's been released finally live to everyone, or not live, but to everybody on YouTube. But apparently it was shown live to the audience and live on the stream, but then they removed it somehow, so the stream audience can see it, but not us. I guess I don't know. There was a scene there that they have even on the Tadum page that they show Ben Affleck and Matt Damon with the Cookie Monster, because obviously Netflix just got that agreement with Sesame Street.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of fun.
And the Cookie Monster is going to be a main character in this movie as well, I thought.
No, he's not. This is a crime drama. I think it's rated R, so I don't think the Cookie Monster. Yeah, the Cookie Monster is a murderer. He's a psychopathic murderer in this.
Yeah.
He thinks that he takes mushrooms and starts to see other people's heads as cookies.
Exactly.
Like human heads as
pretty
cookies,
crazy.
and he starts to eat their limbs and faces off.
PCP, baby.
Yeah. It's a hell of a drug. Anyway, let's move on to another thing out of order here that I wrote down. And it's the Mike Newachuk directed sequel to Happy Gilmore 2, starring
Eminem.
yeah, Adam Sandler. Is Eminem also in it? He could be.
Yeah, he is.
Is he?
Yeah, he is. I wasn't. Yeah, I was making a half joke, but
I didn't
Eminem
see him
is
in the
in
trailer.
Happy Gilmore too. Yeah,
He's in the trailer?
I only know this because of memes, dude. Eminem, Happy Gilmore the second.
Are you typing this in?
Yeah, Happy Gilmore.
Well, I can't.
Yeah, Eminem pops
I
up
thought
in
you were
Happy
kidding.
Gilmore 2 trailer. No, I'm not. I was being serious. Adam Sandler
Eminem
talks about
pops up in
Eminem.
the trailer with a full beard. Oh, it's just
Yeah.
a clip somebody clipped.
Yeah, it's
Seen
cameo.
arguing with Adam Sandler in the new clip.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at this. Oh, it's a Facebook link. Come on. Oh, I see him. Yeah, that's so quick.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Do you think this will be good?
I don't know. I've never watched Happy Gilmore.
You've never seen Happy Gilmore at all? Do you
No.
like Adam Sandler's movies?
I do like them. I don't go out to see them, but I do like them. I grew up watching Big Daddy. That was one of my favorite movies as a child.
Oh.
Yeah.
don't
But I
know
never
why
watched
I
Happy
didn't-
Gilmore.
Huh.
You
Mike
think I'd like
Newachuk is interesting because he directed some of the episodes of What We Do in the Shadows, which I really love, like the TV show, not the movie, obviously, because it's set episodes. Yeah, okay. But he also directed Murder Mystery, which I'm not a big fan of. It's not terrible, but
I don't think I ever mentioned this to you. Maybe I did. I must have. But I watched all of Murder Mystery except for the last maybe 10 minutes. And I just never went back to it.
okay. Well, we watched this in the
I don't know how
UK,
to-
strangely. We just we saved it on our iPad and we watched it in the UK.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I watched it at an Airbnb. I think the first
You
year
were
me and my
both on
fiance.
vacation?
Yeah, dude. Me and my fiance, I took her out for her birthday. It was the first year we were dating. We went to Niagara Falls because her birthday lands on the day before Canada Day. So we went to Niagara Falls to see all like the beautiful fireworks, and I'll never forget it because it was like June is Pride Month. I don't know if you guys know this. But June is Pride Month, and Niagara Falls has like the rainbow colors on the rain, like on the falls, right? As soon as midnight hit, as soon as it hit, they're like, "We're done being gay." They took off all the lights. It was like literally, as the clock struck midnight, they're like, "We're not gay anymore." It was immediate, dude. I'll never forget that. I was like, "Oh my god!" And they
That's crazy because people always talk about that, like the corporate aspect of it, like, oh, Gay Pride Month, you got to do it for the clout, basically. Like these companies are just doing it so that they can have better marketing.
Yeah,
but that is literally an example of that in a way. Like, why wouldn't you just keep it for the night and then at the next day you just don't do it again?
Yeah,
that makes more sense. They're saying, no, too much gay for you. That's it. I'm so sorry.
We had a whole month of being gay. We can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
We can't do it any longer.
That's it.
The light operator sitting there waiting for the clock to strike midnight just so he could hit the fucking ungay button. So.
It's on a timer. Imagine it was a guy. It's like the advocate for not being gay. Like he's just like a really like he's a homophobic dude, and it's just like, who wants to do this job? And like Gary puts his hand out. I'll do it. I've been waiting all month for this. That's ridiculous.
Good shit.
One of the movies that I watched I'm looking through his filmography, Adam Sandler, and one of the movies that always struck me as one of the most ridiculous movies I've ever seen. Probably, I can't remember exactly, but there's some really ridiculous moments in it. Have you seen Billy Madison?
No.
Yeah, man. It's crazy stuff. I wonder if Happy Gilmore wouldn't stand up as much as it did back then. Like, what was it on Rotten Tomatoes? Like, I'm curious. I thought it was great. I was also into like sports a lot as a kid and like growing up. So like a golf movie kind of like appealed to me in that way too. And there's this idea that he's actually a hockey player, which I was at least. And so this idea that a hockey player is playing golf in the most absurd way possible. And I would play golf with my dad and play hockey, and I would be like, "Oh, I'm gonna Happy Gilmore this shot." And the funniest thing is, whenever I Happy Gilmore a shot in golf, it always worked out. That's not bad. 63%. Where is all hell? I'm assuming that's what
Every
it
time you
says.
Happy Gilmore a shot in golf. I actually had
It
no idea
always
that was
worked
the
out.
premise.
He runs at the shot. Like he does a running start. He's basically playing golf like a slap shot in hockey. So he's hitting any drive, he drives with a slap shot.
Nice.
And so I did that as like a joke with my dad multiple times, and it always pretty much worked out way better than anyone thought. Like he would be like, "Don't do that," and then I would do it, and it would work. And he's like, "All right, I guess it's fine," because it would work out. We didn't have to go search for the ball somewhere in the woods. Anyway, okay. Yeah, it looks cool. I'm interested in this. It's gonna be cool. I think you should see it though. I'm curious because you saw Hubie Halloween. No offense, but that's not a good movie.
It's a great movie.
I think you would like this. I think you would potentially like Happy Gilmore
Maybe
better than Hubie Halloween. But there's also the classic "shit for breakfast" line. I don't know if you ever heard that line. Seen it?
I don't know. Maybe I have. Can you?
They reference it in the second movie trailer.
Oh, okay.
Like directly. Anyway, okay. Yeah. So the last thing that I noticed from the Tadum event that we can talk about here, and it's a pretty big one, I would argue, is the Squid Game season 3 teaser. They teased season 3 of Squid Game, and then they gave a new trailer for it as well. I'm guessing you probably saw this one because I feel like this is probably the biggest, most relevant teaser that was at the event for us, just because we just talked about it on our Closer Look episode. But there's a June 27th release date for this. It'll have 6 episodes specifically. What do you think if you did watch it?
Funnily enough, Simon, I didn't watch this trailer because I was I'm going to watch the show. I was like, this is one of those situations. I'm your friend Owen that left the theater. I wasn't watching this live. But when I saw it come up, I'm like, oh, cool. I can't wait. I know when the release date is. I don't need to see a teaser. I know what's going to happen. Actually, I have no idea what's going to happen. That's kind of why I'm excited about it. So I chose not to watch it.
My thought is it's going to go the way of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but
maybe
that's still my theory. This is basically cool. It's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory for adults. I like that. And I don't know how I didn't notice that in season 1. It's very Willy Wonka and Chocolate.
What was that on? I feel like it wasn't really on the nose in season 1. Like I feel like I wouldn't have guessed that in season 1. I can see where you're coming from in season 2, but in season 1, I don't think I would have been like, this is what they're doing.
But there's this idea that Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, they're in this kind of weird ass demented game, and they keep getting eliminated. Like he's eliminating Willy Wonka's eliminating children.
Yeah,
and they got a bunch of helpers, and like they're like Oompa Loompas, and they're going around and like taking the bodies out, and then like it's a strange thing. And the Oompa Loompas are like, yes, this is fine somehow, and that's the same thing as these people in the pink suits. They're like kind of they're just doing the bidding of this like masked man, and you're like, what the hell is happening? And you're just like not. And then there's really the idea of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is there can only be one. Like there's like we're gonna eliminate everyone until the end, and I don't know. That's kind of the idea. It is similar. I guess it is even more similar in the second season in some way. But that is a movie. Maybe that's the recommendation I should make for you. Really? I really like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Sorry, am I talking about the same movie? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The one that's good. The one with Gene Wilder.
That's Willy Wonka.
Yeah, it's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
It's really great. It's
Charlie
really
and
great,
Chocolate
and it's
Factory
very
is the
wacky.
Johnny Depp one.
Yeah,
I watched that
Charlie
one.
and the Chocolate Factory, I don't recommend. I don't care.
I watched it. I thought it was the best movie I ever created.
Okay, well, then you're going to like this one better because it's better.
Impossible.
It's also frightening. There's like scenes in it that are frightening. There was a moment where it was in my elementary school. I think they played it in like the gym, like for some reason. And I was like, I don't know why, but I remember thinking like years later. Well, no, I know why. No, it was years later. Yeah, I remember thinking that it was quite. There's a scary scene in it that I was like, I feel like I was terrified by this. There's a scene in a tunnel. It's like a very dark tunnel where a ferry goes through. It's like it has arguably no purpose at all. In terms of a practical purpose, I'm not sure what it is, but Willy Wonka definitely likes tormenting children. Anyway, it's a very fun scene. It's a very fun scene to watch. But as a kid, the scenes, like the actual imagery, is quite frightening. And so thinking back, I think about how it would seem misplaced to be played at an elementary school. But anyway, okay. Well, that's it. That's all that was there from what I saw anyway. But there were some things that were missing that I thought were notable. The Witcher is one I mentioned earlier in this podcast episode, which is strange. There was no Bridgerton, which I thought was really weird because they have a season coming up and they just got renewed. I don't know if you saw that. They got renewed for another season. And isn't that weird? They didn't show it's the fourth season that's coming up or the third season that's coming up?
I think so. And it's not coming out until next year, which is crazy. And then they already renewed it for the following two seasons.
Like you must have a very firm plan. It honestly must have so much viewership that it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's fair. And the last thing, and this is the thing that literally I care about the most because I don't watch Bridgerton and I stopped watching The Witcher after they did a really dumb decision in season 2, pretty much. There's a thing that wasn't there that I was shocked because I'm pretty sure it's coming out this year. It's Black Rabbit, which I've mentioned many times this year. Mm-hmm. It's the Jason Bateman directed TV show with Jude Law, which has a showrunner from... I'm forgetting now. It wasn't Ozark, right? No, because the Ozark guy is doing the Lanterns show, which is crazy. But let me look this up. Let me look it up.
Look it up, dude.
But Jude Law, Jason Bateman... No, it's not going to show it to me right away, is it? Of course not. Whatever. Anyway, that was missing, and I thought that was strange. I thought it was weird.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you've got anything that you thought was weird that was missing or not.
I don't know. I can't really think of any other Netflix show that I'm like watching actively. I got to watch You, but that's already out. Stranger Things, they talked about.
Yeah.
One Piece, Squid Game. Those are really the only shows I got on the go on the Netflix. I can't really think of anything else that I'm waiting for.
Yeah, okay.
So.
He wrote, this guy is Zach Balan. He wrote King Richard. I mentioned that before.
Oh.
He also wrote the Gran Turismo movie.
Oh, I got to watch that.
I do want to watch that. And I think it just hit a streaming service I have.
I think it's
that's directed by Neil Blomkamp too, which is interesting too.
Yeah, District 9.
Yeah, so that's cool. But anyway, yeah, cool. To done. I thought it was a cool thing to have a split focus special segment for because there was a lot of little announcements in there.
I agree. This was a really cool special segment, dude. I'm glad that you brought it back.
I love your sarcasm.
It's not sarcasm, dude.
Sure it isn't. Oh, man.
How do you want me to say? I love that you brought back this segment. This was a great idea. What do you want? Is that what you want, dude?
No, it's okay.
What do you want?
It's okay. Let's move on now to a segment.
This was a great segment, Simon. Acknowledge it. You did a good job.
I don't think it was. I think it was a failure. But let's move. I'm gonna move on now. I'm hard on myself, okay? And I also think you're mocking me. So we're gonna move on now to a segment of our show that I like to call a look to the future. It's a portion of our podcast, Adrian, where each of us present at least 3 of our picks for the TV series or movies that look most interesting to us, that are releasing between June 17th and June 30th of 2025.
Wow.
As is customary, I will let you pick first. What is your pick for this upcoming week? Your first pick?
Oh, Simon, it's something real good.
I know.
It's something really good.
I know what it is. This is where you throw my idea asunder and pick something different, but I think you know.
What do you mean?
I know what you're going to pick.
Do you think I'm going to pick 28 Years Later?
It makes the most sense.
Yeah, because that's what I'm picking, Simon. It's coming out June 20th. I'm very excited for this. Maybe I'm going to rewatch the other 2 movies leading up to this. Maybe I'll do it.
You think the 28 Weeks Later, though, is related? Because it's not Danny Boyle and it's not Alex Garland. Mm-mm. You know what's crazy is I've been noticing on...
She's in it.
Yeah. I've been noticing on various social media that there's like a scene in the beginning, I think, of that movie that keeps
so good.
Up. Right.
Yeah.
It's the one where like the guy's running away from his house or whatever.
Yeah. That honestly, like one of the best openings of a movie. I know that I don't think that movie's particularly great, but that opening, like 5 minutes of that movie, terrifying. So well done. It's so good.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah,
It's Jeremy
I'm very
Renner
excited.
in that movie, but that's Robert Carlyle in that scene, whom I kind of like because I've seen him in a few things and he's been
Once
pretty
Upon a Time,
solid.
Simon.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time is actually a thing I've seen him in the most screen time. That's a lot of makeup he had to put on for Rumpelstiltskin. Pretty
Yeah,
impressive. Does a good job.
good shit.
Does a good job in
Yeah.
that show. Okay, yeah, 28 years later, we gotta watch it. What day is it today? We're recording this on the 13th, so 7 days away. So it's exactly next
You
Friday.
can go on a Thursday night. You want to go on the Thursday night? Is this something that your fiance is going to want to watch? Because my fiance will not want to watch this.
I don't know. I'll ask her. That's a
Okay.
good point.
Because I want to watch this.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. Maybe I'll be a little scared. Maybe I'll hold your hand.
Oh, okay. The thing I'm going to pick here is the June 25th premiere of The Bear, Adrian. The Bear comes back. It returns to Hulu? No,
Yeah,
FX.
Disney Plus
FX,
for
FX,
us.
FX. It's on FX, right?
No, I thought it was Hulu. Because it's all dropping at once.
No, the Bear Network. Yeah, but it's on a linear net. FX
They're dropping the
Hulu.
entire.
FX on
Yeah.
Hulu. Yeah.
Okay. Because they're dropping the entire season at once.
Yeah, but they're like if you just look up the Bear, the actual like
It
title
shows fix.
is it shows FX. Like it's very very prominent.
Yeah.
FX is such a intriguing network. I used to there was a time in which I watched a lot of FX, like a lot.
Fargo.
Fargo was one of them. Trying to think
Sons of
about the
Anarchy.
others. It reminds me of like AMC. Like
Yeah.
AMC, there was a time in which I watched like almost like predominantly the good shows I was watching. Mad Men, Breaking Bad. You mentioned actually earlier, I really liked *Halt and Catch Fire* for the time I watched it as well. The Walking Dead, of course. Like it was all coming out at the same time. And The Walking Dead, like first few seasons were really good and really like on top of everyone's mind.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway. Okay. Cool.
Good choice. Good choice. I'm excited for that as well, Simon.
I hope it's better than the last season because the weakest season is by far season 3. I don't think it's even
I
close.
agree, but I still really like season 3.
I do, but it's forgettable. Season 2 is remarkable.
Yeah.
Like, there's also,
I remember a lot of season 3 though, but I guess it's the most recent, so it makes sense why I remember.
There's like a lack. The thing about season 3 is it feels like it goes through the motions. Like there's so much that happens in season 2, like so much. The plot is moving forward. The first season is like an establishing season, which is great. And then the season 2 is moving forward. Characters have so much development. And then season 3 feels like almost like a regression. Like the characters don't develop at all. And then they just kind of stand still. There's good shot episodes. And there's one episode that's really good. And they go back in time and they do
the
like
pregnancy
a nostalgia
episode's
thing.
also really good.
That's good. But
I love that episode.
Not really. We're not moving. Yeah, that was good. There's like a few episodes that are great. But it's a great, no, don't get me wrong. An amazing TV show. Amazing through and through. I just think the season 3 is the weakest by a little bit.
I do agree with you. I think
season 2 is crazy. I can't even believe that's one of the best seasons of any TV show ever. Like legitimately. Like there's one episode in that like literally
the flashback one, right?
is incredibly relatable and unfortunately and it made me want to pull my hair out and I love it so much. It was just so well shot and so well acted and so shockingly casted and
I know the cast of that show is fucking bananas.
It's crazy.
That is the one thing about The Bear is the cast of that show is genuinely unbelievable. Like if
and
you were
to it's unbelievable, but it's also they just fall into the characters so well that it's not even important at all. That's what's they could have like George Clooney play a prominent role in that, and it's just so well written and like George Clooney would be like in it. Like they're all in it. They're all like feel, there's something neat. One of the episodes in season 4 is being written by both John Bernthal and Eben Moss-Bachrach.
Nice.
Which is neat. But I'd never made this connection, and I don't know how. I don't know if I made this connection to you before. I don't think I have. But Eben Moss-Bachrach and John Bernthal are in the Punisher series as literally the leads in that series. And I'd never really connected that in thinking about The Bear at any point. And they're best friends in The Bear. So I'm like, this is so weird that I never even realized it. But also Eben Moss-Bachrach, I don't see him in that Punisher show, and he was good in the show. It's just he has long hair, and it's just
he looks like a different human being.
Yeah, and he's in Andor as well, and he's in a great role in Andor. He's so good. So Eben Moss-Bachrach blown up, blowing up like Pedro Pascal in a way.
Yeah.
He's in like really big stuff.
Fantastic Four. He's going to be in that.
Yeah.
His voice
With Pedro
for
Pascal.
most of the movie.
Yeah. Anyway, what's your next pick?
My next pick, Simon, is M3gan 2. That is coming out on June 27th.
What?
It's Megan 2, M3gan 2.
Oh, I don't even have that written. Crazy.
Yeah.
Usually I like have that as a backup. Oh,
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Go on. It's
No.
your pick. It's your pick. No.
I was just going to say, this movie looks fucking absurd, and it looks like it's going to be a really fun
The
time.
music choices and the dancing is unbelievable in the trailer.
Yeah. I like it. I like the first one. I thought it was silly. It knows what it is. I really like this kind of horror where it's kind of like the first one honestly was kind of like a slasher, but again, a campy slasher. It knew what it was. This one, it almost seems like it's almost going the superhero movie route, which is kind of funny. And again, it's very self-aware. I'm pretty stoked for this one. I think this is going to be a really, really good time because it honestly is kind of like a superhero movie, like a Marvel origin story movie. It's like, it's M3gan fighting herself, like a different version of herself.
Ridiculous.
It's stupid. The trailer is really good though, and they're just going right in, like all in on it. Like this bitch is back or whatever. It's stupid, but I'm stoked. I'm gonna watch this. I don't know about like day one, but there's so many good movies, man.
Do you think if this does well enough, they'll just call the next movie again M3gan?
M3gan. I hope so.
I know you do. I know you hope it.
Yeah.
There's something I meant to say. I forgot about this. The last time we did picks, I don't know if you just have like a bad source or you skipped a bunch of things, but I'm shocked that you did not pick Predator Killer of Killers.
I know, dude. I noticed that after. I don't know what happened. My brain wasn't functioning at that time. I must have missed it. And then there was another movie, that Dangerous Animals movie with Jai Courtney that I want to watch, which is actually getting pretty damn good reviews.
Yeah.
And like we finished the episode and I was taking a urine break and I was like scrolling. I'm like, oh my God, Killer of Killers. I totally forgot about it.
I saw Killer of Killers,
so well.
But I literally, because I usually pick 6 picks, although we usually present 3 each, just to kind of fill in the gaps. But I was so sure you pick Killer of Killers that I'm like, that's a waste of a filler pick because it's not going to be helpful. And then when we recorded, I didn't have it written down, so I forgot about it. And I just never said anything. But I was like, this is 100% something that you would have picked.
I'm a fool, dude.
That's Hulu as well, right? Yes.
Yeah. So Disney Plus, which I can't watch.
95% on Rotten Tomatoes.
You kicked me off your account.
You know what's crazy about this? My family, still to this day, every time I see them, they think it's a funny joke to say I kicked them off of the Netflix account as if I chose to make the password sharing rules. Yeah. It's very annoying. It's not even a funny joke, but my dad, I think, said it earnestly. Like, I think initially he thought I was doing it on purpose because I also cancel come back. So he's like, oh, you just kicked us off and cancel. I'm like, dude, you can port over your stuff. Just port it over to another Netflix account, but he doesn't even want to use Netflix. He freaking pirates everything. He uses a freaking Android box or whatever the shit.
Arr.
Yeah. Good old Android box,
It's good shit, dude. It's good shit. Honestly, like,
what?
I can't really blame people like at this point to pirate like so much stuff.
Why can't you blame them?
I mean, I can blame them. I
What are
can't.
you talking about?
But I just feel like it's gotten so absurd. And again, like I feel like a lot of these streaming services, I'm talking about Crave, honestly, in particular, have gotten worse somehow. Why is Crave so bad? Why is Crave so
because
bad?
Because you're spending the least amount of money on it. The French thing is ridiculous. Again, no one wants to watch an English movie filmed in Hollywood in French, even if you're in France. Why would you need to watch it dubbed in French? It doesn't make sense. If you're in French, you're in Quebec, it doesn't matter if you're in French. If you're in
French.
If you only speak French, this is what you want? I'm shocked by this because if it was a French movie made in France, I would want to watch it
in French.
Subbed.
In France. I would want to watch that French movie filmed in France, in French.
Correct. That's right.
Nice.
And then read the subtitles because that's the way to do it. Because that's the immersive way.
I wouldn't even want subtitles.
As the director intended. Actually, I guess the director intended you to know French. But anyway, my next pick is a movie from Pixar called Elio. A June 20th release in theaters. Pixar's no longer... Since the pandemic, no longer doing the old Disney Plus releases for Pixar, like Luca. Luca was not in theaters, notably. Gatto, by the way, is going to be in theaters. I'm pretty sure.
I would hope so.
But Elio will be in theaters on June 20th. Are you excited for this one? I don't.
Dude,
know
I actually have no idea
much.
what the fuck this movie's about. I don't
Pixar
even think I've
always
seen a single
kills it.
trailer. Huh?
Pixar always kills it, So I feel like I should know more about it.
Yeah.
Feel
I don't
a bit
know what
ashamed.
happened, but like at a certain point in time, I was like, I just kind of fell out of, I don't want to say I fell out of love because I still love so many Pixar movies, but like, I just kind of stopped caring about Disney and Pixar animated films. The last few, like I didn't watch Elemental or whatever that one was called. I didn't watch.
That one was okay. Inside Out 2 is
the other
really
one.
good, though. You should watch Inside Out 2.
I do want to watch that. I don't know why I haven't.
Yeah.
I got to be prepared to cry. There was also, what was that one with the star? It was like a little star.
Oh.
And then it's like the woman.
So useful. What a description.
It's a woman.
Couldn't be better. Let's just type in
there's a
Pixar
star.
movies, and we're going to go from there.
Woman with star.
Woman with Star. You know what movie I really love? Soul.
That's a great one. Woman
I love that
with
movie a lot. Like I think it's excellent.
Star, Pixar.
Onward,
maybe it's just Disney.
Wasn't that good? Gotta
I don't
say.
know.
It was okay. Did you watch Onward?
Nah. Yeah. That's Pixar's My Dad's a Pair of Pants, right?
Exactly. Coco, amazing.
Wish is the
Never
movie I'm
watched
talking
Wish.
about.
Wait, Wish isn't a Pixar movie.
That's a Disney movie. I know.
Yeah, but I love Coco. That was before the pandemic. Post-pandemic, Luca, I really liked a lot. Inside Out, I really liked a lot. Soul is one of my favorite Pixar movies ever, actually. I legitimately love it. I think it's amazing. So I do. The thing is, I've always been hit and miss with Pixar. I haven't watched all of them anyway. So for me, it's not been that big of a deal. Did you see Lightyear?
Yep. It was okay.
Yeah, it was okay.
I enjoyed it. Turning Red, I loved. Turning Red's really good.
It was good, yeah.
But yeah, I didn't watch. I guess I only didn't watch Elemental and Inside Out 2. Those are
Let's
really
give
the last.
Elio, it's respect. Do respect here. I'm going to read this blurb from IMDb, okay?
Spit it
Elio,
out.
a space fanatic with an active imagination, finds himself on a cosmic misadventure where he must form new bonds with alien life forms, navigate a crisis of intergalactic proportions, and somehow discover who he is truly meant to be.
Cool.
Yeah, super cool.
Good cast. We got Zoe Saldana. We got Jamila Jamil from that show we both really like. You know the show that we both really like?
A Good Place?
Yeah, that one. We got America Ferrera from that other show that we both like.
I'm looking at the directors. It's kind of interesting.
What is that
the
show?
Directors apparently are
Superstore.
the art department person from Coco.
Nice.
It's Madeline Sharafian. We've got Domi Shi, who directed Turning Red, I'm fairly certain.
Yeah.
And Adrian Molina,
I'm
who
Adrian.
was also additional crew on Coco. And he wrote The Good Dinosaur. And he was also additional crew on Turning Red.
I watched Good Dinosaur.
I did not watch Good Dinosaur.
It's
Is it Good Dinosaur?
No, it's Bad Dinosaur, actually.
Oh. Is it really? You didn't like
it? Was fine. It's so forgettable. I feel like it's very like Lion King, if I recall correctly. Like it almost follows a very similar, but maybe not. I don't remember it.
So it's Hamlet?
Maybe.
Is that what you're saying?
It's Damlet.
Dino. Okay.
Cool. All right, Simon. My last choice, number 3.
Is
we're ending it here.
Is
I'm talking about F1 the movie. F1 the movie. It's coming out June 27th.
Shocked.
Huh?
I'm shocked you picked that, but okay.
What? Why? What did you think I was going to pick?
Squid Game 3?
Well, we just talked about that. I feel like it's. I don't.
Did you do it intentionally though, or did you actually forget it?
No, I did it intentionally, okay. Simon.
Respect.
I did it intentionally, Simon.
I appreciate it. All right. Yeah, F1. Are you excited for F1? Are you going to watch it?
Maybe. The trailers actually kind of look pretty.
They do look good. Well, it's the dude from the freaking Top Gun Maverick is directing.
Yeah. What's his name? It's Joseph Kaczynski.
Yeah.
I always want to say John Krasinski,
Yeah.
but it's Joseph Kosinski.
Kosinski. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look good. There's like some quirky bits in it. Brad Pitt's a pretty cool guy, isn't he? He's just cool in things. He's just cool. He's just being cool in it. Yeah.
Brad Pitt, more like Rad Pitt. Am I
really
right,
like
dude?
Brad Pitt and everything. What is Brad Pitt? Typically, he's not bad in anything. I love him in Inglourious Bastards. That's the role that like really sticks out to me as well. He's a goofball in like Burn After Reading. That one's a good one too. It's like a Coen Brothers movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's like, what's a movie I saw? Oh, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He's so good in that, and that's what's so great. That he's one of maybe the best character in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So to see David Fincher make a movie based upon Cliff Booth, his character, Brad Pitt's character, it's gonna be pretty cool. I'm very excited because I love David Fincher's movies. We talked about this before, but anyway, yeah. I don't know. I think F1 could be really good. I don't know if we'll go get around to seeing it. I wonder. But anyway, the last pick I'm gonna pick here. I won't pick Squid Game 2 then. Huh. No problem. I'm going to pick Ironheart.
Oh, forgot about that.
Airing on June 24th. Its premiere on Disney Plus.
Don't forget, Simon, don't forget, the executive producer on it is Ryan Coogler, the guy that did Black Panther and Creed. He's the executive producer.
Don't forget.
His name's on this product.
We're going to tell you all of the credits this guy has ever done. It's super important.
It's crazy.
But yeah, Ironheart, of course, is like a Marvel, if you don't know, Marvel TV show audience. That is, it stars the character, what's her name? Kiki. No, it's not Kiki. What do I think his name is? Kiki.
Riri. Riri Williams.
That's what it is. Riri Williams from Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
And she builds a suit of armor just like Iron Man.
And there's magic associated with it?
I don't know. You know what it is, though? It's going to live and die, in my opinion. If I watch this show, I've watched most of the Marvel shows, if not all of them. I'll say it's going to live and die based on the character development and based on the relationships between the characters and how endearing the characters are overall.
Yeah.
Because that's something that I am questioning. I don't know whether that's good. Because I don't think the idea is that original. It doesn't look that original. That's the problem with it. It feels like another Iron Man story, but in the eyes of a college kid, I guess. It's like, that's fine. She wasn't she was really not that interesting in Black Panther 2, which is largely
by far my least favorite character in that. Maybe not my least
unnecessary,
favorite, but
maybe to be in the
she
movie.
was kind of shoehorned in. I don't even remember what the fuck she does.
I was kind of hoping Don Cheadle would be in this, like as a core character, because Don Cheadle was supposed to get a movie or a TV show, and that I think it was a TV show and
then a movie and then nothing. Now
and I love Don Cheadle and everything, so I feel like it would have been good. But I mean, then again, I love Samuel L. Jackson, and that in Secret Invasion of show is again the worst show I've ever watched, I think. So I don't know. I guess maybe that would have been bad. It depends on the showrunner, I guess, and how passionate they are for it, or if they're just going to cash the checks.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, I don't know, like it sucks because I think there's like a huge amount of people that are just hating the show simply because of like racism. And I like don't want to be associated with those people.
The problem is there's so many bad actors, though, eh?
I know.
Not bad actors in the show. That's a bad word.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah, like there's just a lot of bad faith people. There's a lot of people who just they don't have any good opinions about things, and they just like,
This is woke because there's a black woman. It's like it's so much shit. It's
The Witcher 3, The Witcher 4. Sorry, Witcher 3, The Witcher 4 tech demo. I talked to somebody today about it, okay, at my job. And I talked about how excited I was for The Witcher 4. And they mentioned the freaking Ciri's face was changed because it was controversial that her she's like uglier now or something like that. They made her prettier in this tech demo from the trailer that they showed at the Video Game Awards in December. They made her prettier in the tech demo they just showed 2 weeks ago.
She looks the same.
She looks identical. He was trying to convince me of that. I'm like, that's not true. But people online have written about this incessantly to try and get clicks. And so therefore, it's like this thing. It's like hotness is not allowed because it's woke or like there's like this. Yeah, dude, that's what it is. It's crazy. Ridiculous. It's crazy. We live in a weird ass society, dude. It's messed up stuff. Just think for yourself. Like,
so actually, again, it sucks because you can't. It's almost like you can't give criticism anymore to certain things because it's like I don't want to be lumped into those people. But it just simply does not look good. Like it looks like this was made, and I'm confident it was made during like Marvel's low point where they didn't really know what to do, and I feel like this was kind of pushed back, and I'm not particularly interested in this.
It doesn't
I
look
think that
bad to me either, but I just don't think there's a lot of space for mediocrity in there's how much I watch and play. Like I'm playing so many games and watching so many TV shows and movies that I don't really have the time. I'm so sorry.
Time is a valuable commodity, dude.
Yeah, you have to blow me away. Expedition 33 is an example of like a game that like there are games that will fail, but that thankfully doesn't fail because it is brilliant. And I think the really brilliant stuff also cuts through the crap in some capacity. Not saying that Ironheart will be crap. Maybe it will be great. I want it to be good.
I would love to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
Again, the cast seems pretty all good, like pretty decent, because it has the Han Solo from the Han Solo movie called Solo: A Star Wars Story.
I really like that guy.
You don't like him?
Anton. I like him. His name isn't Anton though.
What is his name?
Alden Ehrenreich, I think it is.
Ehrenreich, yeah.
He's got a cool name too. Where is that guy? What happened to him?
He's an Ironheart dude.
Did Solo fail so badly, like financially, that he was never cast in anything like substantial again? Like what happened? He was growing. He was in everything. He was in a pretty solid role in Oppenheimer, to be fair.
Yeah, he was,
which is cool. But
he was in Cocaine Bear as well.
But that's a small movie. That's what I'm saying.
He's in Weapons. That's coming out.
Oh, that movie. As horror movies go, I'm most interested in that movie.
Yeah, it looks fucking
good. Because the mystery of it's like the barbarian mystery, and that's the same. It's Kreger, Zachary Kreger, made both Weapons and Barbarian. So I'm
fucking stoked for this.
That's cool that he's in that. Yeah. He's one of the teachers. He's a parent. I think in the trailer, right?
Yeah,
he's cool though. I like him. I like the Solo movie, to be honest.
Yeah.
I know you didn't like it that much, but
it's fine.
There's only one scene I don't like in that movie, and it's very obvious what scene.
Is it the end scene?
There's a scene. It's so crazy.
I remember sitting in theaters being like, "Dude, what the fuck?"
It's so crazy.
I think I brought that up.
We know who you are, man.
Like when we left the theater, I was like, "What was that? Like,
You're
why did
the most obvious guy? You stand out in a crowd. I'm so sorry to say."
And he's just like, "Just in case you don't know who I am." It's like, dude, what?
That was so good.
What the fuck is the point of that, man?
Yeah, I want to watch that movie again. Actually, after I'm done Andor and Rogue One, I might go back to it. Just if I'm still playing Star Wars Outlaws, because it would just kind of be relevant to what I'm playing. But
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see how it times out. But
so fucking dumb.
It's pretty stupid.
I also don't particularly like how they name Han Solo in that movie. Like how they like say like, "Oh, that's his name." I'm like, I don't like that. I was like, oh, this is kind of silly.
It's kind of cool. It's silly. I'm okay with it. I didn't mind it. Yeah. It's silly, but it's not crazy impossible.
Whatever. Who cares? Doesn't matter.
All right, but I have one more pick as like a secondary kind of pick here. It's everything's
Squid Game season 3.
No,
coming out June 27th.
June 27th. Yeah. No, sir, that's in there as an honorable mention. But we could pick more than 3, and so I picked one more here that you didn't say. I didn't think you were going to say it, but anyway, it's everything's going to be great. It's Tetris director John S. Baird. It's I, Tonya writer. Literally, his name is Steven Rogers. And it's the actors in it are Bryan Cranston, Allison Janney. And it's like a family, and they move away so Bryan Cranston's character can like run a theater company, but theater companies just notoriously don't make any money, it seems like. And so like there's like a rift in their family relationship because of this. The only thing I didn't like about it is the trailer is just a bit too hokey for me. It's got that like classic like I don't know, it's like this almost like, what was that movie with Zachary Levi where the boy is kind of like he's got an illness or something, and
where it's like, I'm gonna cure my kid of autism.
There's like an element of like the musical overtone, like we're gonna make you feel things in this movie, and so you have this like music that's like incredibly generic. Like this is a movie in which emotions will be felt, and it's very wholesome. This is a super wholesome movie. It just announces that through the music. So that's the thing I didn't love about it. But the people attached to it, it's kind of intrigued me. Anyway, that movie, Everything's Going to Be Great, is coming out on June 20th, and I thought I would throw that in there. It's a smaller
that's a
film.
Good little throw in.
Sure, the budget
throwing of the dice.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how much 28 years later it cost to make. I'm being more curious about film budgets lately, like Meg 3gan or whatever you call it. Like that movie is not very costly, and that's why they can make these horror movies and put them in theaters so often. And that's why horror movies typically do so well. They're also often like bottle episodes where they don't have to spend so much. I'm curious, like some of these movies, like everything's going to be great. I imagine the budget's like beautiful, like for the studio and for anyone involved.
28 years later, the budget is apparently $75 million.
Whoa, that's way higher than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It's filmed on iPhone.
To be fair, $70 million of that was just spent on the iPhones they used to film the movie.
Yeah, right. You know what's crazy though about that? Like realistically though? Yeah, you know about that.
Yeah. I'm doing a hand motion to
they have
show
an array,
Yeah,
sorry,
it's like a bunch of iPhones.
This is an audio art form. Yeah. But yeah, this is like I don't know if you can call it art, I suppose. Audio medium? Anyway. But yeah, it's multiple iPhones on a rig that are filmed for one particular shot. That's crazy. I'm super curious what that shot is. I think somebody was, I don't know if it was Danny Boyle. It might have been Danny Boyle. He said, you'll know this shot when you see it. I'm like, okay. I'll look for it there, Danny.
I'm sure it's going to be like an infected going, nah, 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 and then you're just going to see it from a bunch of different iPhone angles.
It just keeps flipping.
That's my assumption. I don't know
how
for
much
sure.
can the circle be? Because then eventually you're going to get...
It's a semicircle.
You'll see the other iPhone eventually, though.
You're right, actually. Well, it's a deep cut.
I guess you can cut it out in post or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. That's cool.
I'm stoked for that movie.
Yeah, soon. You want to go see Ballerina tomorrow?
Tomorrow? Like matinee? You want to do a matinee tomorrow?
We can if you want. My fiance's having like girlfriends over, and so let's do it. Like time if you want to do that.
Dude, I'm so down to go watch Ballerina tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not committing exactly, but I think it's probably a good idea. If you're
okay, shoot me a text. We can go watch Ballerina tomorrow. My fiance's she's gonna be busy. She's going to she's wedding dress shopping, so she's been. She's been, I was going to say balls deep into wedding dress shopping. Yikes. That's not really the right phrase. But yeah, she's been looking at wedding dresses. So she's going to be going with her mom to a shop tomorrow around 1. So dude, all I was going to be doing is just hanging out on my couch, looking at my ceiling. So if I could instead that's it. That's literally nothing else. So
it'd be very reminiscent of when we went to go see John Wick 2.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, we saw 2 together. I'm like, have you ever seen John Wick? And you're like, no, what's that? Or something like that along those lines. Yeah. And then you just watched the movie and said, you want to go see it? We just went at 9 p.m. on a random Tuesday or Wednesday or something.
It's funny. Every John Wick movie from John Wick 2, I watched the other movie leading up to it. Because for John Wick 3, we watched John Wick 1 and 2 that same day. Yeah. And then John Wick 4, I watched John Wick 1, 2, and 3. Not the same day, but within a specific time frame.
Yeah.
And then for Ballerina, I'm gonna watch all 4 John Wick movies tonight. I'm just gonna watch it all night. I'm gonna do an all-nighter. Actually, I only got to watch John Wick 3.
I couldn't even,
but only halfway through 3.
I told you this, I think, on this podcast, but it made me sick to my stomach to see John Wick shoot that many people in the head at a certain point. It's just too much. Like, it's good in small doses. It's amazing. I think John Wick 4 might be the best John Wick. I don't know. Maybe
it's really good, man.
Or John Wick 2, maybe. I think John Wick
3 I think is the weakest because it ends where it starts, and I honestly don't remember what the fuck happened.
Was accomplished. But I think John Wick 2 had a much bigger budget, and it just felt like you could tell. Like John Wick 1, when you go back and watch it, you're like, oh wow, yeah, they were really on a shoestring budget in comparison. Like they really they focused on the stunts, but they didn't have as much in terms of set piece. And then 2, they clearly the studio's like, hey guys. We have some money for you, actually. Okay. All right. Let's get out of here. We're almost 3 hours.
I'll see you tomorrow. For Ballerina.
I'm happy the Zencastr didn't have a conniption midway through the podcast.
It's funny. It's like we acknowledged that it was having issues and then it just stopped.
Yeah. I know. That's like that. Oh, man. I have another story again. Why do I keep coming up with stories?
Spit it out. I love stories.
Did I ever tell you the story about how this is probably incredibly boring. My family had a fridge. Like every family.
Dude, my family had a fridge. What? No way, dude.
Wait, are we brothers?
Yeah.
This coincidence is too deep.
That's crazy, man.
No. So we had a fridge. It was like a very cool fridge. It matched the kitchen. We had like black tile in our kitchen. It was like for my whole life we had black tile. It was cool. Yeah. Eventually, like a tile broke and they couldn't replace it because it was so unique. Anyway, but the point is, the fridge I had like a black surface. You don't see this very often. Fridges now, you go get a Samsung fridge or whatever, and they all are stainless steel. They all look very similar. This had like a mirror black surface. It was very unique. It was like a French door fridge. Anyway, the fridge worked fine. It was great. Thanksgiving came around. We were hosting in my house. And suddenly the fridge, which was full of food, of course, because it's Thanksgiving, decided to break. So it broke on Thanksgiving Day in the morning before we even like started to cook. And the food, or it was like the day before slightly. And then we were kind of screwed. And we're like, oh shit, we're hosting Christmas. So Thanksgiving, we got through it. We figured it out. It wasn't too big of a deal. We're hosting Christmas. We got to replace the fridge, we thought, the next few days. But of course, the fridge began to work as soon as we were talking about it in the kitchen. We just talked about it, and then the fridge began to work. Worked perfectly for literally 2 months. And we're like, I guess we don't need to replace the fridge. It's going to be fine for Christmas. It's working fine. Nope. On Christmas Day, it literally broke again. It shut off and would not turn on, and it was really bad. It was much worse because we had more food for Christmas than we had for Thanksgiving, as we had more people coming over. And so it was a really bad situation. And so we did replace the fridge after that. But we talked about it. It got fixed itself. Like, how does a fridge fix itself? It just decided.
You talk about it.
Yeah. Anyway, not a great story. But
on the plus side, on Christmas, usually it's a little snowy. It's a little chilly out here in Canada. So you can at least put the food outside.
That is what we did, I believe.
Nice.
We had to put the stuff
We
outside.
are brothers, dude. I was there. I remember.
Yeah.
We both had a fridge.
I think we had a small fridge in the basement as well that we used as a backup. But we had a lot of stuff in there, like drinks, like for the guests, because it was a pretty big event. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't enough, so we had to put stuff outside. It was like we were really screwed. We were putting stuff in the garage and stuff because we didn't want an animal to come, like a bird to take off with the freaking turkey. Yeah. So anyway. Yeah, that was
a pigeon picks up the whole turkey.
Wait, isn't that kind of cannibalism in some way?
A little bit.
Maybe it wasn't turkey. It was stuff.
It's kind of like the equivalent of if we started eating like chimpanzee. You know, technically you could do it, but it feels wrong.
But should you? You though? Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for this episode of Split Focus, a film and TV podcast. Anything you want to say, Adrian, before we go?
You know what? No.
Okay. Well, thank you for listening to episode 112 of Split Focus, a film and TV podcast. My name is Simon Eady, and it has been a pleasure to host you alongside my enigmatic co-host, Adrian Pinter. Join us in 2 weeks on July 1st, Canada Day, for episode 113. Good evening to you, and good luck.
Take care. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Take care.